111. What up? What up? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Coop, what's going on with you, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Had a great afternoon. Energetic, ready to get to it, ready to get to the people. I apologize for the abbreviated show that we had on Friday. I know it was a big day all around. I didn't realize how much stuff I had on my plate from that day in itself, but we really gonna get to it today and really get into a lot of the intricacies that I wanted to get to on Friday that we kind of, rushed through in a sense. What up to everybody in the room? What up to everybody in the room? You know what? I want to start the show off like this. I want to get to some of the super chats that we may not have gotten to on Friday, and maybe we can respond to them really quickly.
Seems
Um, is that cool?
yeah, no. That seems fair.
Okay, Jay Short says this album reminds me of Street Disciple, meaning the Kendrick album. What do you think about that?
I think that I get what he's saying because, like, much like Streets Disciple, Nas is all over the place on Streets Disciple.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick's all over the place on this album. So if you're talking about like where the MC is at that point in their life, where he sounds like somebody who's like all over the place in a lot of ways musically, then yes. But I mean, there's just there's just kind of like a hip hop factor that comes with like some of the tracks on Streets Disciple that I don't think take effect here. Like like how about this? The actual record Streets Disciple, where Nas's pops is talking over the hook, and when he's talking about rhyming off and bomb and fluid, thinking about how Big and Rockin' would do it, like how Kane and Rockin' would do it, like seemed impossible to us. Like he's still speaking like from that nostalgic perspective on Streets Disciple. Like it's still kind of like that core Nas stuff is still kind of there a little bit. But as far as like quality of the double album, I think the content's better on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers than it is on Streets Disciple. But it's comparable in the sense that some of the stuff really, really connects and some of the stuff doesn't. I will tell you that I feel like the high-end stuff on Mr. Morale is more classic than the high-end stuff on Streets Disciple.
Oh, most definitely. Hey, get the thumbs up in the chat so we can get this broadcast to more and more people because we're really going to break down this album in a way that we didn't get a chance to on Friday. And we do want to talk about Kendrick's all-time status because, I mean, that's one of the things that we were talking about on the eve of this album and how, this album was going to be a big step in one direction or the other. LP said in his super chat from last episode, he says, what happens if Gibbs and Nas drop better albums? Damn is a better album as time goes. It will be appreciated more, and the inconsistency of this album will help make that clear. I don't know, man. I don't know if Damn is better than this album. And I know off first listen, I said it was. Off first listen, I said it was. But I do think that the high marks on this album, let me say it like this. This album's more innovative than Damn. I don't know how well Damn has aged, per se. I think lyrically he's better on this album than he was on Damn. I don't think that the singles on Damn are so strong that it overtakes this album. I think this album just means more. And also I think that him being behind the 8 ball, the degree of difficulty is more. And I do think that the content is going to help it age better than Damn, in my personal opinion.
I agree with almost none of what you just said.
So you had this below Section 80.
Possibly in terms of replay value, it's definitely like that. I will say I do think it's better than Section 80 because the high end stuff on here, like I believe I said on Friday, and if I did not clarify, it's just some of the best writing that you'll find. I'm just not sure if it's some of the best emceeing that you'll find. And so my first rebuttal that I would tell you about Damn is that I have a different appreciation for the replay value on Damn and on To Pimp a Butterfly because of this effort now. I can see more of his hip hop roots on that album. What I would submit to you is that, he's doing a wonderful job creatively and artistically of pushing the boundaries as far as the MC is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's wonderful that we're in that place in hip hop where somebody as great as he is can express themselves artistically in the variety of ways that he does.
Well, I hold that high. You know what I'm saying? I hold that creativity high and,
Like,
that innovation high.
Well, I wasn't finished.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. My bad.
No, you're cool, because all of that is fine and well.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you're not supposed to check the fundamental hip hop boxes as well. And that's where his stuff becomes problematic.
Well, don't we want people to be game changers, though?
Yes, everybody else that's a game changer still is game changers, pushes the boundaries, and checks those boxes first. So what makes him different or immune to that?
When you say that, though, the first song that comes to my mind is Worldwide Steppers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, incredible writing, but it's not what you would call traditional MCing. Everybody in the chat, hit the like button, like and subscribe and share this broadcast or whatnot. So I'm thinking that's more so what you mean. I think, to me, the weakest song on the album, and I'm going to go through my ratings real quick, was Crown. I had that the lowest.
Why? Hold on. I'm listening.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it just wasn't a lot of MCing on there, kind of just based on what you were saying. And I think that I'm not a big fan of Kendrick's singing voice to that degree where that's just a song that I'm going to, play. I think that the song that, in a vacuum, that I'm going, because I feel like this album's similar to Pimp a Butterfly. It's one of those albums that you have to just play from beginning to end if you're going to end up listening to the songs in that way. The only song that I'm just going to go in and play without thinking of I got to play the whole album is Silent Hill.
We're going to get to Silent Hill.
I think Silent Hill is one of the strongest songs on the album, in my personal opinion.
It is, and I'm going to, and when we get to it, when we're going down your ratings, and we can kind of go through mine, because I know I just kind of ran everything down and I didn't actually rate the songs.
Okay.
Like, when we get to Silent Hill, I have some things that I want to, speak to that I said, that I actually, put to the test of a younger listener who kind of agreed with my sentiments. And I'm not sharing it because they agree with my sentiments. I'm sharing that to express the point that a lot of his creative genius, and I'm calling it creative genius, is still pulled from other places, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when people isolate him as if he's coming like completely innovative and he hasn't pulled from those before him or those around him, well, that's not true. Okay, like my first note actually about the first song, right next to I have United in Grief, I have Low End Theory right next to it, because I think about what Tribe's infusion of jazz into that album and how it meshed so perfectly affected this hip hop culture that we get to a point that an artist of this caliber makes a song like this to start off his album that people have been waiting.
Kenneth Palmer with the super chat says, I played the new album all week. Kendrick Lamar is definitely top 10 on my all-time list. I don't think you can name an artist besides Jay who has created 4 classic albums in a row. He has a very strong argument, and we're going to get to the individuals that would be on that top 10 to 15. And
we can, but hold on. The classic talk, you see, here's the thing.
You don't think this album could be considered a classic, though?
No, it's not. It's not in that realm. It's not consistent enough, and he's not consistent enough on here. And I'm going to tell you why, because this is the album where this gets exposed, and I'm going to contextualize it to somebody who I realize makes gripping albums, and a lot of the gripping of his albums is his voice. Well, vocally, like the writing and the content is so much better vocally than what he's able to do. I'm going to give you an example of somebody who is like a very great content writer, but it's their voice that also grips you and keeps you there. And that's somebody who just announced his retirement tour, that's Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
Scarface that has the voice that goes with the subject matter that grips you and catches you. And so while this writing is brilliant all the way through, and while the emceeing is definitely high level emceeing, like it doesn't grip you or grab you like that. Like you don't wake up the next day like, oh, I gotta hear this like over. No, it's not like that. And
voice is important, and it's interesting because
but it's a dope album.
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah. Voice is important. And I think a lot of people don't understand how important voice is when it comes to emceeing in hip hop. And I think early on in hip hop, it was just a given. The people who had the voices were the people that were going to get the mic at the Park Jam. Like the strongest voices in hip hop really come in the earlier eras of hip hop. Like
Yes.
there's nobody with questionable voices during those eras. Harry Mango says, I personally would even take "Don't Fight for Feeling" by Rapper Forte over this new Kendrick Lamar album.
See, that's where it gets shady. See,
Shout out to Rapper Forte.
Hold on. When an album is a classic, this many people don't come out and call it trash. And though I've said it's not trash, when an album is a classic, this many people do not come out and say that it's not trash. And I'm going to tell you why people are saying that. Because he's not checking the boxes that all the other greats that he is categorized and rightfully categorized with, they all check those boxes on their classic material. Because part of what this is like 50 said, well, if you want to make music for yourself that you like, go in your basement and make the music.
Well,
but
I think he's a leader.
If you're in the music business, you're making music for people, right?
I think he's sonically a leader, and I think that where he's going musically could be something that a lot of people follow. Antonio says, this is his polarizing album.
Yes.
Some claim it's his best. Some claim it's his worst. This is at the bottom with Overly Dedicated, in my opinion. I was talking to my guy, Ron Bay. Shout out to Ron Bay up in New York. And he said he might put this album above To Pimp a Butterfly. So it's all over the place. And I trust not Kanye. I trust Ron Bay's hip hop acumen highly, and I get where he's coming from with this. From a writer's standpoint, it's very strong. Nas the Goat says, "I've been listening to K. Dot album since it dropped." See, we're all over the place here. What were you going to say, Coop?
Hold on, because much like he is on the album, we are all over the place. And that's why when people keep saying it's like, is it a classic? No. Is it trash? No. I'm somewhere in the middle. It's a really dope hip-hop album from one of our all-time greats. I mean, and I think here's what's happening, is that I'm not so certain. Like, how about this? Good Kid, Mad City is a classic. To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic. If you told me Damn was a classic, I might squab with you a little bit, even though I prefer to listen to it sonically than To Pimp a Butterfly. I will still hold To Pimp a Butterfly objectively higher than Damn. And so if you wanted to say the last three albums he made are classics, I will give you that. But I'll also tell you this album is not that, because those albums check certain boxes. Like you spoke to an album, Mike, Death Certificate, a classic album from one of the all-time greats that Kendrick is, like list-wise, like right there with. Even though he's pushing the boundaries with his rhetoric and his speech, he's still fundamentally checking these hip-hop boxes, is he not?
Yeah.
And every classic rap album from all of our greats checks those boxes. And so,
well, we got to get to what those boxes are, because we got time today. So, you know what I mean? We might as well get to what those boxes are, so people who are probably looking at this, or listening to this on any of the platforms are like, what is Coop talking about when he's talking about these boxes? So we need to break that down too. And like I said, we're about to get into the actual songs.
We can go to his other albums and I can give you examples of it.
I got to make a confession though. I don't listen to Good Kid, Mad City. And it's not that it's not a dope album, great album or whatever. I've always felt like Good Kid, Mad City wasn't really him. I always felt like that was more of his industry album. Like I don't like Swimming Pools and, the song with Drake, Anytime, Anyplace, forgot what it's called. Poetic Justice. Yeah. I mean, those songs don't seem like the Kendrick Lamar that we've gotten to know. And I feel like there was a lot of, I got to make a commercial smash in the vein of like a documentary or Get Rich or Die Trying in Good Kid, Mad City. I feel like we got the artists in some of those other efforts where we got the machine on Good Kid, Mad City.
I'm going to make my first Outkast reference, and I'm probably going to end up making some more. It's more like a Southern Playalistic to me in the fact that it's really a time capsule of where he was in life that you knew he was never going to again. That's part of what's so beautiful about Good Kid, Mad City is that, well, if you're listening to that album and you're listening to that guy rap the last couple of years, his whole world's about to change after this album drops when you get done listening.
Well, that's true. I mean, the buzz was crazy. Dumb It Down says, somewhere in the middle is called mid.
I mean, it's not mid. I mean, somewhere in the middle, be like 3.5. No, it's better than that. I gave it a 4.25. I'm probably going to end up sticking with that. But what this does is that it keeps his streak of dope projects alive, though, because the album's not a dud. And I think that's what people need to be more focused on if we're talking about his all-time status. Is let's not look at it like, oh, well, how classic is it? Well, let's look at the fact that he's really never gave us anything bad. And I always told you his album-making ability was always the number one thing that had him in these conversations. So he has kept himself in the conversation by making another quality album once again.
Well, see, the thing is, when you go out there and, number one, you show that I am the writer and the MC that you know I can be, and I'm really taking some of that to a higher level on some levels, then boom, you're good. And then the other part of it is, if the issues that people have with you are the fact that you took chances, people are okay with that too. Well, at least I am. I mean, and again, it's that Stankonia thing. Like, we weren't tripping on Cass with Stankonia because we're like, well, you know, they're trying something. They never made anything like Bonds of a Bad Dad before. I think a lot of the stuff on here, he's never made anything like some of the stuff on here, for good, for better, or for worse. Now, when you go out there like Pusha T and you make some mid on some stuff that, you know, it's kind of like, okay, we've seen that before, then the criticism's slightly different.
Well, I would tell you what, if I were to go back and rate Stankonia, I would rate Stankonia the same way that I would rate this Kendrick album for a lot of the same reasons. Are you pushing the boundaries? Yes. Is some of the stuff on there brilliant? Is some of the writing on there some of the best writing you'll find? Yes. Does all of that stuff connect? Nah. Is it a little inconsistent? Yeah. Are they all over the place? Yeah. Is it the weakest of the 4 projects of the 3 previous projects? Yeah, most likely. All those things.
Okay, I'm gonna get to the super chat, and I want to ask you about these boxes before we get into this track list. Nas the Goat says, honestly, I feel like Section 80 is his best album. See, he has a Janet Jackson problem, man, where it's like, you know, any of his 4 albums, anybody could say, you know what, Control's my favorite. No, Janet's the best. No, Velvet Rope's the best. No, Rhythm Nation's the best.
Right.
I mean, Jay Short says, this album reminds me a lot of Street's Disciple. Greatness here, but a lot of the insular material and references from day one fans. Yeah, we got to your super chat from last week, and Coop kind of addressed that Street's Disciple, not reference, but comparison, by saying that, yeah, he's probably in a similar place in his life that Nas was in during the Street's Disciple, period.
Yeah.
All right.
Too. I think.
So these MC boxes that you're talking about that this album doesn't check off.
It's more about, you remember Mad Skill's song Nod Factor?
Yeah.
I got your neck nodding, I got your head nodding because your neck nose is fat. Like,
does that apply to Eminem as well? I'm taking notes.
Yes, that does apply to Eminem as well. I didn't want to bring this up, but a lot of the issues that we have with Eminem, I could bring to the table to you about Kendrick, and it's like, well, are we giving him a pass because he's black and from Compton?
Well, you know, we've been seeing something all week, or at least I've been seeing something all week. Luka Doncic is murdering the league. And I'm sitting here watching, you know, Fox Sports, ESPN, and former NBA players, the black players mostly, they don't want to admit that this guy's dominating everybody. And a lot of Atlanta fans, too, and I love the Hawks. Y'all see me with my Hawks gear on and all that, man. They don't want to admit that we didn't get the better player.
I mean, when you're saying, I mean, you know, he is great, and he is having a run. But excellence is something that is sustained again and again over the course of time in that field of play. And so let's see how he holds up over the test of time.
He's going to be fine, bro.
No. Listen to what I tell you. For how he does not work out, and for how his attitude is, for the fact that he already got a Hall of Fame coach pretty much wanting to leave that organization, what I would tell you is that if he doesn't get his attitude better and get his body better, we're only going to get this for about 5 to 7 years, and there's no guarantee he's going to get a ring in that span.
He's going to be fine.
Is he getting a ring?
He will. Straight up. Who's gonna stop him? This guy's not playing with anybody. Come on, man. This guy's been doing this on a pro level since he was like 16 years old.
Watch Jason Tatum outplay Kevin Durant and Giannis, and you're asking me who? Like, did that not just happen?
You think? Come on, man. Jason Tatum. Listen, Jason Tatum's playing.
Or whatever.
Come on, man. Come on.
Whatever you think of Luka is, not KD. He's not Giannis. Don't get it.
Come on, man. Listen. First of all, there's a collective over there in Boston. They do a great job. And shout out to Jason Tatum. He is a very, very good young talent. He's not Luka Doncic, man.
No, I didn't say he was Luka, but you're acting like there aren't guys out here that can give him comp and hoop with him. And it's like, yeah, they can.
He's not playing with anybody, Coop. Imagine when he gets another person. And you know what?
He actually had somebody. Hold on, he actually had somebody. Porzingis is a borderline all-star, and Porzingis didn't want to play with him because of his attitude and because of his ball dominance.
Man, where's Porzingis at now? He washed, man.
He's actually been putting up like the best numbers since he was in New York, since he left Luka, actually. If you actually look at his numbers, he's in Washington.
Yeah, where they at?
I mean,
I'm just saying, man. Like,
they're at home.
It's garbage numbers, man. I ain't even know Washington still had a team. No disrespect to our Washington people out there.
Disrespectful to Washington. Don't disrespect the DMV like that.
I love DC, man, but I forgot y'all had a team, man.
Dallas is gonna be where DC is right now. They're gonna get home real soon.
So what you? I want to hear this. What are you gonna say when Luka Doncic goes out there and beats Golden State? What are you gonna say then?
You want to know what? If Luka beats Golden State, I will say that he is right now the second best player in the league after Giannis, and I'll put him ahead of KD and LeBron.
That's fair. That's fair. I will take that because you know what? In the regular season and
3 out of 4. I already know.
3 out of 4.
Yep.
We already know Steph don't be coming through in the big moments, and we're talking about a guy here who averages 38 points in elimination games. I mean,
Game 6 Clay is all I gotta say. Game 6 Clay is all I gotta say. That's
oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Clay's gonna give you one game, man. Clay's gonna give you one game. You got to win the rest of them.
No. They got enough to win the rest of them. You just said Luka ain't playing with nobody. You think he's really about to go house Golden State like that?
Who winning tonight?
They playing in Golden State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Golden State winning tonight.
Okay.
Curry gonna drop 40, actually.
Give me Dallas. Dumb it down with the super chat says a lot of K-Dot stands just like him, or just like Eminem stands.
What I'm saying is that I was talking about this with you, I believe, behind the scenes, which is, well, go play this against some of the stuff on All Eyes on Me, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and you'll see what I'm talking about checking boxes. Okay. Well, is there deep content on All Eyes on Me, Volume 1 and 2? Yes. Is it an accurate expression of Black life? Yes. Is it hip-hop oriented? Yes. Does it have songs that make you want to play them over and over again that you want to hear constantly? Yes. Is it ambitious? Like I tell people, what is it? Like Auntie Diaries? Oh, Auntie Diaries is probably more wonderfully written than everything on All Eyes on Me. Would you rather hear that or I Ain't Mad at You? Would you rather hear that or Ambitions as a Rider?
Well, I'm looking at my score sheet here. The songs that I have ranked the highest, because I got 4 or 5 out of 5s on here. And only one of those songs I think has replay value. Shout out to Daniel in the room. I know Dan. He said, I listened to the album 5 times, and it's one of the best albums of this era. Classic. Daniel's from New York, I believe.
It's funny how when people say that it's not that great, we don't need to be rushing to judge it, but we get to rush to call it classic. Like,
DeCarlo says, if Kendrick Lamar were Michael Jackson, this would be Invincible. If he went Quentin Tarantino, this would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You know what? I'm not going to give him Invincible on this. I would say more so Dangerous. That's high praise, though. I think Dangerous is really good.
It's solid. It's dope.
Yeah. I think Dangerous is really good. We got a couple more super chats.
This is really good.
Hmm?
Like Dangerous isn't like some world beating album, but it's really good. Just like this album is really good. Like
Dangerous is all over the place. The fact that Dangerous
it's
has
like
the Free Willy song and it has Dangerous on it, it has Jam on it, it has Keep It in the Closet on it, it has
yeah.
Heal the World on it. It's all over the place.
Well, the times are turning, and he's looking for what's going to stick to the wall because he's
Right.
Mike. He's like, what am I going to do that's going to stick?
Yeah, he
I
don't
mean,
have his ear to the street like he once did. He
but
not in
he's
the
also
clubs like that.
no plugs he met going around. You know, like Dangerous. Like, how about this? All of Janet's albums are better than Dangerous. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. Not all of them, but yeah, those
But
four
not the
that I
first one.
mentioned, yeah.
Not the first one. Not the first one.
Yeah, not the
one.
first two. I don't even think it's All For You's better than Dangerous, but I feel you. Those four,
I kind of do. I kind of do.
no. LP says, name a PG who's played better than Curry in the past 15 years. All them boys play with another superstar. They all out of the playoffs. Dubs in 5. Y'all act like Klay Thompson ain't the second best shooter of all time. Let's not do that, man.
I mean, neither one of these guys is Isaiah Thomas. We're talking about point guards, Luka, Steph, and Chris Paul. Like, none of these dudes are Isaiah Thomas or Magic, so what?
Nas the GOAT said, Mike, stop disrespecting my guy Steph. Listen, when Luka goes out there and outplays Steph in this series, which he will, I want an apology from everybody. And you know what? If Steph loses this, y'all ain't got shit to say to me. Y'all have nothing to say to me. He better not go out there shooting what he shot against Dallas in this regular season. Y'all ain't gonna have nothing to say. No legs to stand on. Because Luka ain't playing with Jordan Poole. Luka's not playing with Klay Thompson. Luka's not playing with Draymond Green. Imagine if he was. Boy, if y'all lose this, y'all will never hear the end of this from me.
You want to know what?
Stakes is high, right?
You know the stakes is high.
Red Twin says, theater is okay, but hip-hop, this is hip-hop. Remember that.
That's what I keep trying to say about checking the boxes. So, like, Pac does stuff like, how about this? There are songs on All Eyes on Me that are play-worthy, like I Ain't Mad at You. But there's also hip-hop stuff on there. But there's also black expression on there. There's also creativity. There's rhetoric. But guess what it's rooted in? Hip-hop.
And you know what? I think we've said this offline. We've said this offline. I think that Kendrick has versatility within itself, but his versatility suffers when he's collaborating, right? And I think that's a lot of what you're talking about. Most of the people in hip-hop that we call very versatile, they're able to encompass all those things on one project and go out there and, you know, like Pac, for example. He can go out there and get on an MC Breed record. You know what I'm saying? He can work with whoever and still be Pac. I love when Pac got on Thug Love with Bone, and he didn't change up who he was, and he fit right in it. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? He always sounded in pocket. Same thing with somebody like Jada. But that's what you're talking about when you always got that head nod factor and you're always able to jump in other people's worlds. I don't think Kendrick does a good job of that when it comes to that part of the versatility, and I think his sound might not be a traditional hip-hop sound, if that makes any sense.
Well, let's pause for a second. This is what I mean about, well, why does he get a pass? Because it's not just really Tupac that does that well.
Well, he can give us Silent Hill. I mean, I think if you're talking about a pass, you're talking about Eminem, right? Like, Eminem can't give us Silent Hill.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Okay. I mean, other people that he is categorized with, it's not just them. All the great MCs remain themselves and bring you into their world while maintaining like fluidity in other people's world. Ghostface just did it on Kendrick's album. Scarface has done it.
Yeah.
Jay does it. Nas does it. Ice Cube does it. KRS does it. Even Rakim does it when he does do a guest appearance, like with Mobb Deep or with Truth Hurts. You get what I'm saying?
Well, Kendrick was doing it early. I will give him that. Like The City on the Games record. You know what I mean?
You know, how about this? The Game stuff is a lot of his dope guest appearance stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that he's done with Game is a lot of his dope guest appearance stuff. The How Many Drinks with Miguel was like a good job of him doing an R&B record while maintaining his style and doing the voice thing and all that, and actually, you know, mentioning and name dropping his song in there. So like he's done some stuff. I don't want to knock him, but not to the level when it comes to like guest appearances and when it comes to like cohabitating the environment. He's not at the level of the other people that he's mentioned.
Yeah,
And
not
that's
Johnny
what
P's caddy. You know what I mean? Reggie says, guys, there's been a link between the title album and Jay-Z's verse on This Is What It Feels Like. Big Steppers is definitely as a slightly selfish overachiever, usually unwilling to negotiate. Um, you know what? Speaking of Jay-Z, do you feel like Jay-Z's rapping like Kendrick on Neck and Wrist? Because I do.
So
Whose style is that?
I was actually, this rap thing. I told you, Mike, about how like songs have been stolen like down here and from like major guys and like all that. Like it happens everywhere. So like, don't think that it doesn't happen, because it was funny when Pusha T was rapping. I was actually thinking, you know who Valet is? Out of
Valet.
Chicago.
No,
There's
no.
this, there's this dude out of Chicago named Valet. When I heard Pusha's verse on Neck and Wrist, I was like, because I think he did a joint with Valet a few years ago. After Daytona, I was like, that kind of sound like Valet style a little bit, and I kind of thought that Jay was kind of interpreting a little bit off Pusha's style. And then I've always told you this, that where's Kendrick's family from? Well, they from Chicago. Where Valet from? He from Chicago. So I did hear like some Chicago like-ish type flow going on, just because I know Pusha has a connection to Valet, and it does appear like Jay has like maybe creatively kind of taken a little bit from Kendrick, and probably vice versa too. And I've always told you a lot of Kendrick's flow is more Chi-Town than West Coast.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, well, shout out to everybody in the room. We got over 300 people in the room. If you don't have the yearbook, make sure you go get that according to Hip-Hop Yearbook 2020 2020 and 2021. I was about to say 2022. We got that one coming too. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all of that. Rap Rums Music has a super chat. He says, 2 years in, and you two are already the best in rap commentary. Keep it going, fellas. Thanks for the inspiration. Nas still the GOAT. Appreciate that love. And yes, Nas is the GOAT. And KD3 is coming. LP says, album is good / great body of work. But I'm never driving around listening to K. Auntie / uncle. Not listening to the song where the couples are arguing. Those are 2 of the songs that I gave a 5 out of 5. Spoiler alert. And yes, I'm not going to sit around and listen to those. I'm gonna be honest. But I couldn't knock them. I mean, it's hard to sit there and rate something that you're not really gonna ride around and play. I don't know if you actually factored that in to your ratings, but I kind of just, I guess, rated the songs in a vacuum. LP also says, Steph already solidified. He's the most winning point guard of his era. If he's got something to prove, so does every other point guard. Can only put Magic and Isaiah ahead. Listen, man. I'm gonna say. Let me say this. Please let me say this. Please let me.
He's not Magic or Isaiah, but he's like.
Let me say this. If this nigga was this, and this in the winning end, he would have a Finals MVP. Until Steph Curry gets a Finals MVP, you've been to the Finals what 6 times, 5, 6 times. You got 0 Finals MVPs, man. Get out of here. 5 times. You got 0 Finals MVPs. They gave Iggy a Finals MVP over you. Let's not talk about Magic Johnson as Isaiah Thomas. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Like I said, he's not in that conversation.
Cut it out. He's the best shooter of all time now. Now, I'm not even going to front on that. I mean, it is what it is. And by a long shot. But if we want to talk about him being the winningest, this and that, all the finals you're in, you don't have any of the MVPs. So it sounds like you were just on a real good team.
He's not Zeke.
No.
Like, he's not in the conversation with Magic, and there's not a conversation with Zeke either. Zeke would bust his ass, right?
Lupe Fiasco, Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat, my bad. He said, Lupe Fiasco drill music in Zion, June 24th. Thoughts? Can't wait to hear it.
I told you, everybody's outside. It's a great year.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Remember I was saying it's shaping up to be 96s? Well, I'm not hearing enough classic albums. So,
and we're going to get to that, too. And we're going to get to where we place this Kendrick album. And I swear we are going to get to this track for track thing. I'm just trying to get to some of these super chats. Ryan Gillum says, Kendrick's Mr. Morale is really good, but even his Untitled album has more replay value than this. I don't know about that.
No, because that doesn't have a Silent Hill or an N95 one.
Man says Jay never formulate his own plot. He stole a lot. Um, you know what? I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think the last time that I feel like Jay-Z sounded like Jay-Z was on American Gangster. I think he's kind of been fishing for a style ever since. Now, I'm not saying that he ain't been nice and hadn't had his nice moments, but even when I listen to the Blueprint 3 now, I mean, the songs are so good in some instances that you're not even really thinking about him, but isolate him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like he's still trying to find a style and trying to fit in with what's current at that time.
But I
The
think he did a good job
and
of
all
doing
that
it.
stuff, you know, nights is blinded, girls need blinded. It's like, that's not Jay.
But I thought he did a good job of that on the Blueprint 3, though. I mean, I thought that Life is Good and the Blueprint 3 were like great, like, you know, transitional, like grown man, like rap album rhetoric.
I feel like the Blueprint 3, he was looking for a style to run with, and he didn't really sound comfortable on a lot of those records. We off
Really?
that. Yeah.
I think there's a few records he didn't sound comfortable on, but for the most part, he's comfortable on there. You don't think so?
You know what? I think he sound the most comfortable on Thank You and What We Talking About. That's him rapping him. But when it comes to some of the singles, it sounds like he was trying to catch what was going on at the time. Jay Short with the super chat says Kendrick is slowly turning into Eminem. Eminem the person and his art. So underwhelming now, I guess. It's altered everyone but the hardcore fans. This is probably M's like his new album. So this is why people like M's new album so much. I see what you mean in that he's very isolated in a sense, kind of like Eminem in that way. And I'm not even gonna lie. We Cry Together, that gave me all kind of Eminem vibes.
Yeah, it's very Kimmish.
Yeah, it is very Kimmish. Nas the Goat says, Mike, stop it. He should have won the finals MVP over Iggy, but he didn't. The fact that they were even able to give it to Iggy is a problem. His stats were equal with KD in both years. KD won, and if he wins this year, he would trump Isaiah. He's not going to win this year, guys. He's not. But again, if he shows his ass this series and outplays Luka Doncic, I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all are right, but that's not going to happen. Go ahead, Coop. I'm sorry. I was trying to get to all the super chats. I'm sure I cut you off.
No. You're good. You're perfectly fine. So, I don't know. There's so many places to go with this. I just feel like we need to start going by the track.
Let's go track by track, man.
But I feel like we've been here for about, 35, 40 minutes. And
we got like 330-something people in here. Hit the like button, y'all, so we can get more people in here. We're going to go track for track. United in Grief.
Yes. So that's what I put, like, this was the low end theory. So this is the first part where I realized it's like, well, for everybody calling him a genius, understand that he's genius because he pulls from other geniuses. So he pulls from the best parts of A Tribe Called Quest, the low end theory. He pulls from the best part of Outkast, AT-Aliens, Aquemini. He pulls from the best part of Eminem has an MC, Kim. Like, he pulls from the best part rhetoric-wise of MCs around the same age and time, i.e. Yeezus, Untitled by Nas, and Streets Disciple, which was referenced, you know?
I heard a lot of Yeezus and Mr. Morale, the song.
Yes. So when people are like, well, he's a genius, it's like, well, not when is he a genius? Well, kind of, but it's like, not when I hear Yeezus, and when I hear Streets Disciple, and I hear Untitled, and I hear AT-Aliens, and I hear the low end theory. And then I'm looking at your track list, and then it's like, well, you got rhetoric-wise into some places Conway went on his album, and you got a track with The Alchemist. Did you hear some of Conway's stuff? Well, I already see you sitting there with Pharrell and Pusha T. Did you hear some of
what else was so dope about We Cry Together? That shit sounds like a West Side Gun track. And I'm going to be honest, guys. I still haven't even looked to see who produced everything. I think Alchemist produced that song.
If Alchemist produced that sound, Soundwave produced most of the album. Like, most of the songs have 3 producers. I think Soundwave is the focal point. And here's another thing. One of the songs, it almost felt like there was a Griselda shot where he would do. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He's listening. He's
Of course he is.
listening.
He's a hip hop fan.
He's a hip hop fan.
Yeah.
He's listening. And so his genius, oh no, he's sitting in the cut pulling from everything and everybody and everything that he loves.
I didn't really like United in Grief like that. I see people in the chat saying it's fire. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, honestly. And that's one of
crazy.
the lower ones that I gave on this.
That's what I gave it. I gave it a 3.5.
And especially when we talk about an intro, right? And maybe I'm weighing this heavy because, again, he was missing for 5 years. The intro is like, that's supposed to be the biggest build-up and the strongest song. I don't want to get back on the Pusha T thing, but, you know, when they reorganized the Pusha T album, they put the song that I thought should have been the intro on first. Did you see that?
What?
They put Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe, the first song. And I sat here, yeah. And then they put Brambleton as basically the last Neptune song. But anyway, you got to start off strong.
They owe you and me a check now, is what you're telling me. That's all I heard when you said that. Wait till I see. Wait till I find out.
Because you remember that? I said that. I was like, I think Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe should have been the intro.
It's not a game when I see like somebody from Apple, like you're watching right now.
They're watching right now, I'm sure.
Wait, like you just wait till I see you.
Yeah, so I didn't think United in Grief was a strong enough intro. And honestly, when I heard it, I was kind of nervous. Like, okay, well, this
me too. When I heard that, I grieve different when he did that, and I heard all the and also another thing that I thought about too was all the tap dancing going on, like at the end of Pray for Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was like a cheap shot too, a little bit.
Well, Kendrick's competitive. He said that.
That's what I mean. He knows who's been like running it while he's been gone, and so there's like him doing his interpretations of like, oh, like you like when they do stuff like that. Like, let me show you how I do it.
In 95?
Because he's competitive and he's petty. He's both of those things.
Yeah. I just wish he was out there killing it on other people's shit like he said he was. Yeah. What did you rate United in Grief?
3.5.
3.5 out of 5? Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
like
in 95. At first, I had that at a 4 out of 5. I play that in the car and I'm riding to it, man. That's a 4.5 out of 5.
I still have it at a 4. I said he's snapping, but I don't love the start of it. I said, and then I went back to the first song. I said that first song is all over the place.
I like the innovative nature of N95, and I guess sonically, and I think that honestly, it's one of the few moments on this album where the track actually outshines him.
I'll give you that, but it's still a 4 out of 5 to me. But I also like noted the line where he put, "You worried about a critic? That ain't a protocol." I was like, "But you're obviously listening." All right.
Worldwide Steppers. I went 4.5 out of 5 on that one because I love the songwriting on that. I think it's one of the stronger songwriting moments. I think what it lacks is what you were saying before, that head nod factor and that ability to actually put all of those words into, let's just keep it real, on beat.
Right. This is what makes him so difficult to rate because much like you, guess what? I rated this song a 4.5 too. But I also put, this is the problem. This song is a 4.5, but I'm probably not going to want to hear it tomorrow when I get in my car. And so the notes on here, you're talking about the songwriting, well, the admission of writer's block for 2 years, nothing moved me. And when he says stuff, like he gets on like that Nas and Rakim level when he talks of pray to the flowers and the trees. So it like gets into that metaphysical level of lyricism. It's high level. Lupe does that well too.
Yeah. I love the content on this one was really heavy. I love the themes and how he was connecting the dots here. That last verse, I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, man. I just wish it was in a form where we could hear it on a day-to-day.
So I wish he took some of Tupac's approach to songwriting and implemented that since he's such a fan of Tupac. That's why I brought up All Eyes on Me. Because if he took some of Tupac's approach, because he's capable of taking other people's approaches and making it work for him. Well, if that's his idol, I wish he would take some of more of Tupac's approach to song making, because if he did, I think this album would have been a 5. Because what's missing is some of the hip-hop approach to it. Because everything else about it is like, well, the production's not flawless on here, but it's dope. and
Yeah.
it's good. And for what he's doing, it's like, well, what are you expecting beat wise for what he's doing from it? It kind of leaves you in a place as a producer where it's like, well, that's not where he's taking it. How can I give him beats for where he's not taking it? And but even that within itself is convoluted to me. And that's what I mean about it just being rooted in hip hop fundamentals. It's like sometimes you just need a backseat freestyle or a money trees, you know?
But you know what? I'm not mad at him for not giving us that though. Because
I'm not saying giving us that, but I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. All Eyes on Me, Volume 1 and 2 is littered with that. And there's still the rhetoric and the creative genius there intact. There's still the beautiful songwriting there.
Shout out to Man Nanny with the super chat. He says, Die Hard has Summer Smash hit written all over it. I like Die Hard too. And we're about to get to Die Hard. I got a 4 out of 5 with that one.
Same here.
And you know what? And I think it's one of the easier listening songs on the album. But I think he lyrically takes a back seat on this one. So if we want to talk about, you know, song making and how that's put together, it's very high. It's kind of a constant theme here, right? Like on this album, the songs that sound like they are radio ready, he takes a back seat as a writer. But the songs that may not have that playability, he is like on super writer level. And y'all mentioned Lupe. Lupe shouted out the album and said it was brilliant. And this is Lupe Fiasco giving Kendrick Lamar a compliment.
Because it sounds like something Lupe would have made. But right. Of course he's gonna show you.
Yeah, Die Hard, I gave that a 4 out of 5. What about you?
We're having similar sentiments actually outside of N95 because I gave this a 4 out of 5 too. Here are my notes. It has a different bounce. I put single and video right next to different bounce. I said it's groovy. I said it's groovy, but nowhere as original as the other 3 tracks. I said it's easier to digest, and I feel like this is intentional.
I think that's a single. I think Die Hard's a single. Obviously, N95's a single. I think that we need to see a video for Silent Hill. I have a theory that we're probably going to see visuals for just about everything.
Yes, I told you this is a play. We're about to get everything visualized. I said, here's where the singing and the scatting starts. I said, forget all these Baduisms, just call Erykah Badu. But it's easy to ride to, and all the patterns are simplified. I said, this song is going to end up being too simple for where I see this project going so far.
Okay. Father Time, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't love the beat, Mike. I actually think the beat's probably one of the weaker tracks on the album, but the subject matter is so poignant and important in times like these.
Okay. I'm not mad at that because I don't love the beat either. And it affects the replayability of it all. Rich Spirit, I gave that a 4 out of 5. I like that song.
I like Rich Spirit. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. I remember you saying Friday that you liked Rich Spirit a lot.
I'd originally given it a 5 out of 5, and then I went back on it a little bit, and I took it down.
People say, can we talk about Kendrick, not M? Y'all must be talking about Eminem in the chat. Okay. We Cry Together, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
I did too, but I said this is what's going to end up being wrong with this album. I said this is the best beat by far. I said it's great expression. I said, but I still feel like The Best I Can by Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody is a better song about the same subject matter. And then I went to the fact, well, how genius is this if I can hear the Kim and the domestic violence from RZA and Bobby Digital on here.
Yeah. But again, some of the things that you're saying, like, you know, and I know the Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody record is newer, but a lot of Kendrick fans probably never even heard that record, right? And some of the other records that you're talking about are before a lot of Kendrick's fans' time. So something like this, and obviously Kim is Kim, I think it's going to stand out for different reasons, for better or for worse. But I think that this song and the way that it was done is new for a lot of people who were listening to this album.
Okay.
And it was done very well. I mean, can't knock that. I mean, it's 5 out of 5 for me.
No, so all of those things are true, and I'm still giving it a 5 out of 5, but let's stop canonizing it and acting like it was the first of its kind, or he's some sort of genius that only thinks of this stuff, when we can give listeners who are not familiar or acquainted with prior time stuff like Kim and domestic violence to contextualize. It's like,
go look it up. It's on YouTube. Y'all
right,
watching
this
this on
subject matter has
YouTube.
been covered. This subject matter got covered last year on ELE2 by Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody as well. So
I
just
want to
because
talk about Busta Rhymes too, man. When we start talking about top tens and and where people really contextualize somebody with his catalog and stuff, like where does he fall?
So hard to rate him.
And we want to talk about this versus thing too. It's about time with the super chat says, the whole "We Cry Together" track was inspired by Janet Jackson and Tupac's argument off of Poetic Justice. All that FUB came from Pac. You know what? I never really thought about that.
I didn't either. That's
interesting.
That's fascinating.
I'm gonna go back and look at that scene.
But once again, hold on. That's better creative license and writing than it is actual emceeing. Nobody's taking those things away from him creatively, the genius things that he's expressing. I'm just saying it's
we got to talk about what this does for his overall MC rating because being a writer is still a big heavy part of being an MC.
No, he's in this conversation mostly about the writing and the album making.
You're right.
When we have other guys that do the album and the writing making and check other boxes that he doesn't check, how can he supersede them? Because his genius supersedes them. It's like, well, I don't know if like necessarily being like, how about this? Like, Kyrie's the best ball handler we've ever seen. Is he a top 10 point guard all time? No. Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time. Is he the best point guard of all time? No. Just because like you're genius at something doesn't mean you end up being number one on the list.
Jay Short with the super chat says, as Coop says, what's Kendrick Lamar's greatest hit material? We are 5 albums in, and I still don't see enough all-time songs that I would put him in the top 10. It's very interesting because if we sat there and say, you know what, top 50 hip-hop songs all time, how many Kendrick songs are in there?
Not one. If we're talking about like, that's what I mean. If we're talking about hits, it's not even a conversation. He's not even anywhere close. If we're talking about some of like the just best hip hop songs ever, he has a couple things that I believe deserve some mention, but I don't know what crack those as well. And he's somebody that makes it problematic for somebody like a Busta Rhymes because his catalog is clearly superior to Busta's. But even though Busta checks more boxes, but Busta's not the writer that he is, and Busta doesn't make albums like him. And so about those things, Kendrick's going to get held higher.
And Busta doesn't take on topics, heavy content. And I would say it like this. In Busta's prime, he didn't take on heavy contextual concepts in his music, which is wild because off camera, he's one of the deepest people in hip-hop.
One of the most insightful people that you hear speak.
And yes. I wish that he would have put that in some of his music he put that in like the themes, right? You see the theme in Disaster Strikes, in, Anarchy, ELE. The themes were there, but he wasn't putting it in the music in a way like somebody like a Kendrick Lamar would. And so for a lot of people, the content-heavy guys are going to win that argument. That's why Scarface is so high on where he is.
Ridiculous. Well, but here's the thing. He checks a lot of hip-hop boxes. The voice, the delivery, the content. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the type of subject matter that he's talking about, whether you like the subject matter or not. Like his talk to me isn't really even, I know he gets classified as a gangster rapper, but it's just more like real life project talk.
Yeah, reality talk.
Reality talk. Like, it's what's going on out here. It's like, it can sound gangster to you. Well, there's gangster shit going on,
Purple Hearts, man. I got 4 out of 5.
I got 4 out of 5 too, but I told you.
I think that song could have been better, man. And again, maybe that's me being a Ghostface fan.
No, I'm the same way. I said Ghostface saved this song. It's a verse of the year contender. I said, but this song should be a 5. I said, this is not doing the pairing justice, but it's groovy. 4 out of 5.
Count me out. 4 out of 5.
Count me out. Yeah, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm not mad at that. I was on the fence, to be honest.
I didn't love it. Yeah, I didn't love it.
Crown, I gave that a 3 out of 5.
Now, this is where we're going to defer because I thought this was one of the records that was closest to a To Pimp a Butterfly record. I thought that originally it might be a 5, but I gave it a 4.5. So, like, what do you not like about it? Because I love the honesty on here.
I guess the lack of rhymes probably. I'll go listen to it again. I listen to Kendrick for the bars. The singing and stuff really is not my favorite.
Right. But you want to know it? This is where I love the name of it. How about this? I love the way that the song is called Crown, and it's actually probably his most vulnerable personal moment on the album. And he's literally saying, I can't please everybody.
More than Mama I Sober?
Huh?
More than Mama I Sober? And Mirror?
I mean, I'm talking about the MC, like the artist. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm talking about like the guy that's in the all-time great conversations. Like that guy, I've never heard somebody MC wise like come to the table that's as great as he is, and it's just like nah. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't for me.
Nas the GOAT says, "Coop, is how much a dollar costs a top 50 hip hop song?"
That would be the one. Like if we're just talking about period all time, it would probably be in my top 50. It's just like I don't know how it would resonate for everybody else. That would be the song I would go to though.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think Real, Money Trees, How Much a Dollar Costs are probably his best like all time canonized songs.
In my personal opinion, and it's not my favorite song on Good Kid, Mad City, but it's close to it. I think Money Trees is probably his biggest cult classic.
Yes.
I think Money Trees is the Kendrick song that you put on anywhere for anybody who was there at that time, and everybody is rapping everything.
So can I tell you something? I just did my other podcast with my guy Andrew earlier today, and we compared Money Trees to You Can't Always Get What You Want from the Rolling Stones. And I talked about how the buy-in factor on Money Trees is so high. It's his buy-in factor song. A lot of it is because of that yabish, but a lot of it is because of the repetitive nature and the flow. It is because he's using the yabish to, catch you in.
It's the buy-in, yeah. And then that Halle Berry Hallelujah, it's a perfect record.
It's a perfect record. So yeah, I'm with you. Like on a personal level, How Much a Dollar Costs is his best song to me. But if we're talking about like top 50 all time, like Money Trees would probably be the closest one to that. If we're just talking about like period, all things considered, How Much a Dollar Costs, I would put Real right there.
Interscope never drops the ball promotional wise, right? They normally get the best out of every situation. They drop the ball not having visuals to Money Trees.
It's crazy.
Shout out to Saint with the super chat. The big time super chat. Good looking out. He says K-Dot's genius depends on the team, not himself. Depends on his team, not himself.
Okay.
I think he was the MVP when it comes to the writing here. Because again, I think the production, if that's the team you mean, the production took a back seat to him on this album, and I think that's one of the faults of this album too. Now, if you want to talk about To Pimp a Butterfly, that's clearly a team effort there, musically, and how that came together. You don't think so? Like sonically, To Pimp a Butterfly sounds like a big collective of people coming together to make that effort. These walls, like these songs are big.
I think his vision is that's what I mean. His vision is so clear and concise on To Pimp a Butterfly. And listening to this album magnifies that for me because the difference between these two albums is the clearness and the conciseness of the records. The rhetoric is comparable and it's high level, but To Pimp a Butterfly, like you cannot tell me that. I don't know how somebody can listen to this album and not appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly more on a clearness level, on a conciseness level, and just on a hip hop level.
I mean, like, just songs, man. Just again, you don't even like You Ain't Got a Lie to Kick It, but that's just a dope song. Like it's a regular song. It's like I'm not trying to do too much. This is a dope beat, dope hook, boom.
Okay, so on To Pimp a Butterfly, that's not even one of my 5 favorite songs. It would be one of the 3 or 4 best songs on this album.
Yeah, if you remove that song from that album and put it on this album, yeah. it's a scene
Right.
stealer.
So,
Yeah.
so if people are saying that it's a classic, well, how is it a classic? Like when a song, like I can think of 5 songs that I prefer better than that, but they're better than, but that song is better than almost everything on here. And that's not to knock this album or still say it's not dope. What I'm saying is that it makes me appreciate what he truly accomplished on To Pimp a Butterfly even more now that this album has come out.
Did
Like,
you
so,
rate the songs from Damn? Because I know we were going to do that in another show, but we didn't get to it because, maybe time constraints or whatever. I
no,
mean,
I have my notes. I still have it rated.
maybe we could do that after this because, since we're talking about it.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it. Even with the To Pimp, like, man, it's like the stuff that's on there, the hip, at least he was trying to make it more, like, I look at a record like Complexion now,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate the hip-hop aesthetic of him trying to check certain boxes with Complexion that maybe I didn't appreciate before. Because if I would have thought he was taking it here and pushing it this far, that makes me look at a record like Complexion. It's like, oh, no. This is him on some rap shit. You feel me?
No, definitely. Silent Hill. I get it out of 5 out of 5.
That's a 5 out of 5, but that's also like a straight Outcast jack. That's Wheels of Steel. I played Wheels of Steel for a 21-year-old that had never heard like ATLiens at all, and they're like, that's the same melody, that's the same beat, that's the same vibe. I was like, yeah. She was like, he just took that whole vibe and that whole feel. I was like, yeah.
What Dre say?
She was like, I need to listen to ATLiens. I was like, yeah.
What Dre said, the Pope and his folks got us under a scope, and for unknown reasons, because we don't sell dope that we distribute, we don't contribute to your clandestine activity. My soliloquy may be hard for some to swallow. She went behind my back like Pluto when he cut up olive oil. 2 things I hate: lies and thieves that make my blood crawl. Yo, man, Dre was so serious on ATLiens. And you know what? For the people who like ATLiens the most, I get it.
No.
Even though I think it's their 3rd best album, in my personal opinion. But as far as their approach, and as far as them being a duo, and as far as them being on some hip-hop shit, that's the Outkast album for you. That's the boom bap Outkast album.
So when he's going to push these niggas off me, like, I'm thinking, check out your wheels of steel. It's the same melody when he's going head up, chest out. That's Andre at the end. One time for my boys doing king shit.
I didn't get that. And I feel what you're saying, but hearing it, I didn't get that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go back and listen. Like, he's an Outkast and an Andre fan. That's what I mean. He pulls from certain places on this album. He pulls from ATLiens. He pulls from Aquemini. He pulls from the Low End Theory.
Yeah.
He
Just
does.
these niggas out me like,
Yeah.
Savior. I gave that 4 out of 5.
Me too. My first thing was, I said, it's a dope track. He's asking fair questions. I need to hear this in the car. I said, it sounds like a 4.5 in the headphones. I need to hear it in the car. Heard it in the car. It's a 4.
Okay. Auntie's Diaries, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
You want to know what?
Probably his most brilliant writing. I would say, like I said, that one, Mother I Sober, excuse me, and We Cry Together is different. But yeah, I would say as far as like him just writing, Auntie's Diaries and Mother I Sober on a whole nother page.
Yeah, that's a whole. I want to say something right quick about Savior though. Like, this is what I mean. Like, his most vulnerable moments are on Crown and on Savior, and he does such a good job of being paradoxical with the name of the song versus the rhetoric. Like on Savior, he's literally saying, "Bitch, are you happy for me? Smile in my face, but are you happy for me? I'm out the way, bitch. I'm out the way." Like, he's saying, like, I'm no longer concerned with what you're concerned with. Are you happy now that I don't even want to be your savior, or I don't want the crown anymore? And I was thinking, like, he's almost talking to himself when he's saying Tupac's dead now. You got to think for yourself. I'm thinking, like, you talking to us or you talking to yourself?
Yeah. No, I love the concept.
Protecting my soul, that's where, like, no, I love the rhetoric, protecting my soul, that's where I've been, but that's where I was like, no, but let me hear it in the car. That's what I'm talking about, All Eyes on Me. It's like, no.
So you don't think, not to interrupt you though, it's like during an era where we hear a lot about people not being lyrical and not coming from a perspective, which I think is overblown, obviously, because we cover this stuff from week to week. There's a lot of great music out. But on a mainstream level, I think that him doubling down and being super content heavy, I think is probably needed.
So, okay, it's needed, but that doesn't make the quality of the music improve just because it's needed. It's like we needed Ralph Ellison to write The Invisible Man, but The Invisible Man is great because it's great writing. His next book, the follow up, well, not so much. You get what I'm saying? Just because you need something doesn't mean it ends up being a classic.
Yeah, to some people, I guess. DeCarlo says, "Is Kendrick passing the torch to Kodak?" No, but I will say this. This is what he's doing. He's bridging gaps. And I think that's what that collaboration was more so about. When you're able to pull in an audience, that because Kodak clearly has an audience. I think Kodak and NBA YoungBoy, those guys got audiences that is so organic. Like, their fans are real fans. It's none of this Jack Harlow stuff. Like, nobody was out here trying to make people buy into these guys. These guys have real fans. I remember when Kodak, first was emerging, like right after that Double XL cover. I mean, people just gravitated to him. And there was a lot of people on that cover. Anderson .Paak's on that cover. Dave East is on that cover. 21 Savage. Lil Yachty. You could tell the machine was behind Lil Yachty. He was getting that kind of help. But people were just organically gravitating to Kodak for whatever reason. And I think that, this appearance on here and his appearance on this album shows that. Because once again, regardless if you like his rhyming or his ability or his approach, he has a perspective. And even Cardi's Bodak Yellow, that's him. It's one of the biggest songs of this era, and that's him.
What's the song of the year that year?
Man, as far as sales go, it's one of the biggest songs of the past 5 or really, she's still eating off of that. She's a superstar because of that record. Yeah. And obviously because of reality television, but again, you got to show and prove with the music, and that song was the one of hers that's actually everywhere, and that's Kodak. So he's done something.
Oh yeah, no, he's touched the nerve.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on Auntie Diaries. I'm pretty certain you gave Auntie Diaries a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave that 5 out of 5. The writing is just too tough. It's some of the best writing and I'm not trying to gas it up, some of the best writing I've ever heard.
So
because once again, he's connecting those dots just like on Worldwide Stepper. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna start here, going. It's a beginning, middle, end.
So I want to say this, because we've had a lot of conversations about literary devices.
Yes, we have. It's a literature class here on HOHH Live.
No, that's fine. I'm with that type of smoke. I love it. I love it coming from this culture that we're talking about literary devices in a hip hop forum and contextualization. It's a beautiful thing. And shout out to everybody that contributes, because it's like y'all truly move us and keep us going and question us and push us. This song is one of the best written songs ever. Damn some rap shit. All right.
I agree. I'm with you. From the he, she,
writing ever.
Yeah, the way he's positioning it, right? He's positioning the whole he, she, right. And he's framing it like, I'm a kid. You can't really get mad at me. I don't really, I don't know.
Right.
I know she's my auntie, but she says it's a he, so it's like he's going back and forth with it. It's brilliant.
So I'm going to tell you that the true genius stroke in here, in my opinion, is that use of that F word when he's talking about his auntie as a child, but then when it switches over to his cousin as he becomes a grown man, and the way the song ends. Because I'll tell you what, I was thinking he might be the best hip-hop song ender ever, because he's done this a few times now, but I think this ending might be his best ending ever. And
he pulled in a real situation. So he was able to actually...
But then he brought it back with the same rhetoric that he was using with the child with the ever F, but only if you let a white girl call you nigger.
And then that really happened. You remember when that happened on stage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so he was able to address something that really happened and put it into this way. It's brilliant.
Yeah, forget hip hop writing. That's writing, period. Like you can't show me too many songs that have been written, period, better than that. And like the names attached to them are like Stevie Wonder, Billie Holiday, Bob Marley. You get what I'm
There's
saying?
melodies attached to them too.
All-time great melodies attached to
Right.
it. As far as songwriting is concerned, like this song, writing wise, reminds me of some of Stevie's best stuff, like 71 to 75. Like not even songs in the key of life, like deep stuff Stevie used to write.
No,
like it really makes you feel like he was like God was talking through him. Like this song's at that writing level.
Shout out to Mad Max with the super chat. He says, y'all shocked me with your rating. I thought the 5-year gap showed some of his flow throughout the project was bad. And I didn't think Auntie's Diary, I didn't like Auntie's Diaries like that. Felt very left-wing-ish. Album slightly above mid. I mean, you know what? And I will address that. It is very political. It was political. And even with that being said, he was able to write it in a way where it was real, whether it was real or not, whether his auntie really is going through that or not, even if he made this up. The way that he was able to write this and frame this from a child's perspective and then take it all the way into other scenarios, yes, it could have been it was very left-wing-ish, but it was still written very well.
Here's what I have to say as an independent who doesn't belong to the left wing or the right wing. So what? This is his genius moment on this album. For everybody that thinks he's brilliant or calls him a genius, you know how I've been saying all year about how I want to see some evidence. Oh, if you're calling him a genius as a writer and an MC today, you got some evidence, and this record is evidence.
Jay Short says, you think J. Cole makes any changes in his formula after this? I would hope not. Because it's one of those things.
Do what you do.
And this is what I will say, and we'll get back to Steph real quick. Don't try to outshoot Steph. It's just not a good game plan. Do what you do well. Try to clamp down on other formats of the game, but trying to outshoot Steph is not a good idea.
It's not. Let me give you an example. let me piggyback off that. Kevin Durant shot less threes with Golden State than he did with Oklahoma City and now with Brooklyn. You want to know why? Because he didn't need to. He's like, why do I need to try to shoot more threes than Steph? And that's why he had his most efficient seasons with Golden State, because he shot less threes. He's like, no, I'm just going to go here 12, 15, 18 feet and just bust you down. I can hit these all day.
Well, that was the plan. I mean, when you got Clay and Steph over here, you're going to get better shots.
Right. He's like, no, I'll just bust you down right here. 12, 15, 18, 12, 15, 18, bust you down. I don't need to go 21 feet.
Mr. Morale, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. And it's interesting because a lot of people were ranting and raving over that record. But like I said, it's very Yeezus-ish. It damn near sounded just like something I heard off of Yeezus. So I wasn't really floored by it.
I wasn't floored by it either. I gave it a 3.5. I'm going to tell you why. I said, this point in the album is where I realized, well, he hasn't really come up with any new flows or styles. He's just using more voices and using the voices and the scatting and the singing more. There's no new flows or styles from him. And so that's something that I'm going to kind of like point to, like on an MC level, just because we've seen guys older than him who release albums more frequently than him improve on certain parts of their games. And I didn't really hear any improvement on his game except for the writing. That doesn't necessarily speak to the overall MCing. It just means your content's going to be better. I said Black Star isn't doing better with these black ass things, but their album sounds better to me. It's a Run the Jewels type of track. And I said, it's too safe. I said, this is his safe, comfortable beat place where he wants to be, but it's not good for him.
I'm seeing in the chat that Auntie's Diaries is Grammy bait. It possibly is. If there's visuals for this song's going to win everything. And he did it very well. And I will say this. We all know that the topic's out there, and I think that even me and Ronve spoke about this. Jay-Z attempted to do something similar to this on Smile on 444. It's not this. You know what I mean? It's just not.
But who's to say Smile didn't inspire this? That's what I mean.
Yeah. It could have. It's just next level.
No. It's next.
Other thing I saw in the chat was, what does J. Cole do great? Because we said don't try to outshoot Steph from the 3-point line. What would you say J. Cole does great?
You want to
where
know what J. Cole
Kendrick
is
puts
doing
together
great right
albums and
now?
writes.
No. You want to know what he's doing great right now that he just needs to keep on doing? First of all, his content and his rhetoric doesn't need to change because Cole is great at doing what Tupac and Nas are great at doing in terms of sprinkling in the knowledge. So he doesn't have to go full on like what Kendrick's just done. He doesn't have to do that because he's good at sprinkling and still doing the rap stuff. Kendrick's checking all those fundamental hip hop boxes right now. When you hear him on Johnny P's Caddy, it's like, well, if you're gonna rap like this over Alchemist beats, I'm gonna need you to stop making your beats for you to rap over and go get beats from Alchemist. You get what I'm saying? And so
I know Alchemist is the answer for everything, but J. Cole might need an Alchemist album.
No, do you hear him on Johnny P's Caddy?
I did.
Is that not checking all hip hop boxes and literary devices?
Yeah. Not to get too nerdy, but yes.
At the same damn time, a la Future, is it not?
You know, I just want to see if I can bob my head to it and really, dig into the lyrical content and the lyrical didacticity of it.
How about this? If the beats on Forest Hill Drive are better, I'd put Forest Hills Drive probably ahead of Damn and To Pimp a Butterfly, because to me, he's right there, MC, lyric-wise, and some of the content is there. It's the production and the way it was put together.
It is the production. And you know what? And I think that's the biggest difference between Cole and Kendrick. I mean, obviously, I think that we'll go through our MC scale because we're going to get these MC scales and ratings back up. It's just been so much music coming out, we had to cover it. But when it comes to just straight up lyricism, I got to give Kendrick the nod over Cole, right? When it comes to putting together...
Right now or overall?
Overall. When it comes to putting together albums,
I'm starting to feel differently about that.
Huh?
I'm starting to feel differently about that because when I listen to Kendrick lyrically, like Damn, yes. If you're talking lyrically, him on To Pimp a Butterfly or even Good Kid, Mad, I don't know now. Like, have you been hearing the shit that Cole? Have you been hearing Cole rap the past year?
Oh no, he's killing it. But again, can we really be honest and say Cole could give us a lyrical performance like Auntie's Diaries?
I always go to his verse on "Pray on Jesus" piece, so I'm going to tell you yes.
I don't think he can do it, and again, I might be wrong, but
well, hold on.
Mother I Sober, like.
Hold on, this is where I'm gonna turn on you because you and I echoed similar sentiments about Cole, and I've told you that like I want him to win so bad because I'm from Charlotte and he's from the Nam. Even though like Apple Music and all these other providers be trying to put he was born in Germany, it's like we know he's born in Germany, but he's from the Nam.
Right.
You know, I want him to win so bad, but I've always been fair and objective. But I will tell you in full disclosure, I've never been more impressed with him as an MC.
No, me either.
I have been in the past 18 months, and it makes me feel like he's capable of all things.
Well, this next Cole album should be very interesting then.
Damn right. With Alchemist and freaking Dr. Dre and Primo, just everybody else doing the beats for him.
Listen. Dr. Dre's not doing anything for anybody. Come on now.
Go too far? Did I go too far? Okay.
Yeah. You think Dr. Dre's making any... You know what? The only rapper that Dr. Dre's going to make an album for is Eminem.
I settle for like the RZA. Can we find a Dilla beat somewhere? Does he know Q-Tip? And feel me? Madlib? Hello?
Hey, get Kanye. And Kanye will bring everything together.
I was thinking Hit Boy. You know, hold on. What did Hit Boy do? Hit Boy did on Good Kid, Mad City. Hit Boy has production credits on Good Kid, Mad City.
What did Hit Boy do on Good Kid, Mad City? I know the people in the chat know. Mad Max with the super chat says, LOL. I mean, Cole gave you Let Go My Hand. I love that record. That's in the ballpark of Mama I Sober and Auntie's Diaries. Cole gave you Lost Ones with him and the girl arguing about an abortion. We're not going to do that, Mike. Relax. Okay.
I told you he's done some...
That's fair. He brought the evidence.
No, he's capable. He's capable.
LP says, Cole fake deep. He can't touch the subjects that K-Dot do. Fake deep.
Backseat freestyle. Hit Boy did backseat freestyle.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You're right. I don't know why I thought somebody else did that. Backseat freestyle is hard.
So that's what I'm saying. No, that's right up Cole's alley too. Cole can get off on something like backseat freestyle. Call Hit Boy.
Somebody said Cole from a white neighborhood, Kendrick from the hood. Y'all wild.
You ain't never been to the Nam.
Mother I Sober,
For a
5 out of
reason.
5.
Yeah. You want to know what I love about this? This is the part of him. This is what I mean. So his religious beliefs are all over the place, and I could spend a whole other show unpacking those things.
Yeah.
But he speaks to something about, the ego must die. And I'm like, yeah, he's spiritually going through something, because spiritually, you're taught that in order for you to fulfill what your spiritual and your faithful requirements are, that you must kill your worldly ego.
Incredible writing job. It's so much in that song. And again, I think that's another record that if we get visuals for, it's just gonna make the song bigger and more important. These, I would say actually, like I said, I gave Father Time a 5 out of 5. I gave Silent Hill 5 out of 5. Auntie's Diary. So I got 4 songs, 5 out of 5. Right. 3 of those 4 is just because of the incredible writing job, and actually, you know what? There's another one I gave 5 out of 5. That's We Cry Together. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I gave 5 songs a 5 out of 5. And 4 out of that 5 is because of the incredible writing job. And so, saying all that to say, these are songs that traditionally wouldn't be singles or have visuals in hip-hop music, urban music, unless Eminem wrote them, right? Like, if Scarface makes Stan, it's not going to be a video. But I hope Interscope, being the machine that, Eminem's with as well, I hope out of some of these songs, they do put some visuals with. And I think Mother I Sober, if that gets some visuals, it'll be a classic for many people.
So I was saying it has a beautiful liberation type vibe as well.
Yeah.
That it's spoken word is really like, this is where I realize it's like, well, this is really set up full on to be a play, because this song, for as great as it is, it's going to play better in a stage performance live.
I think so too.
Even on record.
Kind of one mic like, right?
Yes, I said, well, once again, he hits you with this super strong ending to keep interest high before the scene changes, just like a play. The best verses on this album are all pretty much the third verses. Look at Mother I Sober, Auntie Diaries, even the other songs, Silent Hill, Crown, like all the best verses are the third one. And so like towards the end of this album, it's like, no, that's intentional, because it's going to be visualized live in some sort of manner. Has to be.
I think the interesting part about that record too is the fact that, he's, especially in this climate, he's talking about not numbing the pain and dealing with the pain while being sober.
Yeah.
Where others talk about, being on the narcotic because of the pain. KC Polar says the only album that's gonna matter is KD3. We'll talk about some of the albums of the year so far and what we got ahead too. I mean, I think that right now we got to give Kendrick his credit. I mean, he dropped and his album matters.
But just see, that's what I mean. And I think there is a lot of this going on too. And this album is going to need some time to burn. And I'm going to tell you why it really is going to need some time to burn. It is about the break. If you love him and you're such a big fan of his and you haven't heard him in so long, of course you might be running around feeling it's a classic right now. Let it simmer. Like, remember how I felt when Nasir came out?
Yeah. You got to let it sit.
But
that's kind of why we're back here today, really talking about it and unpacking it, because it's one of those albums that, because of how lyrically dense it is, we need to really sit with it over the weekend and at the top of the week and really come back and revisit it, as opposed to listening to it the day of. And some people say we should do that anyway, but we don't get albums like this that come out every week. I mean, it just is what it is.
No, we don't get albums like this, but what I'm telling you is that, well, there's two parts to that coin. It's like we don't get albums like this because most people understand in order to get your album deemed as a classic, you need to be checking some fundamental hip-hop boxes. And also, we don't have people creatively and artistically and writing-wise as inclined as him to try to pull some of these feats off.
TD says, love K-Dot, but it's almost dry. It's still album of the year. No. You know what? I went back and listened to Pusha T's album, man. I'm just not. I don't know, man. doesn't do much for me, man. I say that respectfully. You know how much of a Pusha fan I am.
You know how big I am on them.
And
How about this?
even when I tried to listen to them reorder it and all that stuff, it's like I don't know, man. This can't even be compared, in my personal opinion. Like I'm gonna pick this album over that album by far. The Black Star album, yes, it's still album of the year in my eyes. But
Yes. Okay, so let's jump to a couple of things right quick while we're here. Hold on.
Coop even jumping in the chat. I see you over there, Coop.
Yeah, I had to jump in right quick. Somebody asked me if I thought my steer was great. I said I thought it was good, not great like I originally thought. Let's go to It's Almost Dry right quick. So when I listen to Brambleton, I think it's like, well, that might be the best rap song this year. But that's part of the problem. That lets me know what you're capable of. When I listen to Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine the Coop, I try to think, it's like, well, I don't know if I've heard 5 better hip-hop songs than just those 2 songs. But then there's the rest of the album, and I'm like, well, it's a letdown. I will tell you this, Diet Coke would have been better had they held it. They should have held Diet Coke because
it doesn't feel the same. No, I feel the same way. I was listening to Silent Hill and Diet Coke and Let the Smoker Shine the Coop like back and forth and like N95, and I'm like, I must admit, these Kendrick songs are just on a higher level, man. To me,
I don't think that Brambleton is probably my rap song of the year right now, so I wouldn't agree with
really
that either. Brambleton or Auntie Diaries, because here's the thing about it, it's like, how can we name a song of the year that people don't really play like that? It has to be, you don't get to skip the streets in here. You don't. People gotta ride around to it. People gotta want to hear it. And
what do y'all think is song of the year so far in the chat? And yes, Michael Sanders, hit that like button, y'all. Yeah, get them likes up, man. We had 330 people in here consistently. What do y'all think is hip hop song of the year for 2022 so far?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think Brambleton's the first one that's gonna come to mind for me.
Brambleton, Johnny P's Caddy, Let the Smoker Shine the Coop.
I'm fine with Johnny P's Caddy.
So okay. I can get with Johnny P's Caddy. I can meet you in the middle on Johnny P's Caddy.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Auntie Diaries isn't it, because even though it's some of the best writing ever, like period, how many times are you gonna play the song? Songs that win Song of the Year, songs like What You Know by T.I., Nothing But a Dream Thing by Dr. Dre and Snoop, Gin and Juice by Snoop. You get what I'm saying?
I see Johnny P's Caddy a lot. I see We Cry Together a lot.
California Love. You get what I'm saying when I'm talking about Song of the Year stuff? You think Auntie Diaries is like that? It's not that. And that's what I mean about checking certain boxes. Ooh,
Denzel Curry walking. What's that?
Frequency is dope.
Yeah, I'm looking in the chat too.
Me too. Denzel Curry walking. Okay.
I see walking a lot. Yeah.
Uncle Bun's a personal favorite.
Shout out to Ray Rims. Yeah, with the super chat, he says Uncle Bun by Benny the Butcher and 38 Special. Okay. Mirrors. I got it out of 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 4 out of 5 too.
I think it's a really dope way to end the album, although I feel like we could have ended the album on Mother I Sober. Just because of how it sounds. It's kind of like when, I've heard David Banner say this. A lot of people feel like Aquemini should have ended with Liberation and not Chunky 5. But I like the fact that it ended with Chunky 5. But that's the same mindset here.
More. Hold on. I appreciated Chunky Fire more after I had listened to Stankonia and I was realizing it's like,
this is where we're going.
Like, no, I see where you were going, but it's like, y'all needed to just stay right there. That's why you can hear the separation. Chunky Fire is so great. Like, isn't Chunky Fire better than like 85% of Stankonia?
Yeah, I mean, it's Aquemini, man. I mean,
but it's the only song on Aquemini that really sounds like that. And it's like, no. You can tell that they were still together. And it's like, if y'all would have been together doing that, Stankonia would have been another 5, but because of Chunky Fire, you can hear the separation, even stylistically, when they're stepping into that realm.
And Stankonia starts with Gasoline Dreams, so heavy guitars again, so it's like you're starting where you ended off. I think that was purposely, but...
Yeah, and it is, but it's nothing like Chunky Fire. It's nowhere near as good as Chunky Fire.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah. But again, I like the fact that it ended with Chunky Fire, and I think that if it would have ended with Liberation, I mean, I guess it would have been a nice ending, but it would have been a predictable ending. Just like I guess if he would have ended this with Mother I Sober, because they did that with what was that? 13th Floor, Getting Old, Growing
Yeah,
Old.
you still had the Elevators remix right after that, which I thought was intentional so that they didn't end it on that somber tone, which
You're
is why
right.
they did the same thing with Chunky Fire.
Yeah, but that Elevators remix, it's like it's the end of the album. Man. I never listened to that Elevators
Me
remix.
neither. I don't love the beat. The first beat is so classic.
Yeah, the first beat's so much better. It's one of their best songs. Period. You can't really
It
outdo a
really
remix.
is.
Yeah, you can't really remix something like that. That's why when Q-Tip remixed Scenario, and the fact that that beat's actually better than the original,
Better than the original.
that
Yeah.
makes one of the most impressive remixes ever. Because most of the impressive remixes are when the remix actually improved a song that was just okay.
I don't know about that because I think the best remixes are probably Scenario remix, Flavor in Your Ear remix, and One More Chance remix, and I consider all the original versions to be classics as well.
Really? I think all right, and no disrespect to Craig Mack, and I like the original Flavor in Your Ear, but I
No,
think that
it's
the
hard.
remix is much better.
It's
No,
much,
it's not one of those much better in the way of like Black Sheep
no,
much better. You know what I mean?
no, it's much better, but how can it not be much better when you have Biggie Smalls, Busta Rhymes, and LL Cool J on it, and Craig Mack's just on the original?
I don't
But
think that's the
doesn't
best
change the fact that the
example.
original song is
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that the original is a classic. It's just that the remix is a bigger classic, much like Scenario.
He just added some. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
That's-
that's unfair to Craig Mack, right? Like you said, when you add Biggie, Busta Rhymes, Rampage, LL, of course, it's gonna be a better song than when you were just by yourself. Now,
Puff dancing in the videos and shit. Got Puff dancing in the videos and shit.
I think when you talk about that One More Chance remix, that is a whole nother level from that original. When you talk about the Crossroads remix for Bone,
That's
that's a whole nother level.
No. See, the original One More Chance is a dope hip hop song on a all-time great hip hop album. The One More Chance remix is one of the greatest songs ever. The Crossroads on Bones album is like a good song.
It fits with the album, but yeah, it's
Right.
not a
The remix,
it's not an all-time great song like the remix is. Or The Choice Is Yours by Black Sheep. The original is
yeah, the original's enough.
I'm seeing DeCarlo say The Heart Part 5 for Song of the Year.
No. What I did like about how he ended this album is he
I didn't even entertain it, huh?
No, I'm not entertaining that. He said, "I choose me. I'm sorry." You see how I keep on saying, "I can't please everybody." Are you happy for me? I choose me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's letting you know that he's not in love. Faith in one man is a ship sinking. He's telling you, like distance yourself from me. He talks about jokes and gaslighting, running away from the culture to find my heart.
I love the message.
He's being honest with you.
Where do you have this album?
Huh?
Rank Kendrick's albums.
I'm still going Good Kid, Mad City at number 1. I actually had Damn at number 2 until like recently, like going back and listening to Pimp a Butterfly, and then this. I have Pimp a Butterfly at number 2. I have Damn at number 3. Right now, I would tentatively probably have this at a tie with Section 80 at 4th, because I feel like Section 80 is kind of like a 4.25 just for different reasons. The songwriting on here is superior by far. He's in a totally different place as an artist, and it's beautiful. And creatively, he's, somewhat of a genius. But the shit on Section 80 be riding. And that's where his flame really started flaming.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that the flame started flaming is because some of the stuff that he's doing now, well, the birthplace of it is Section 80, and it connects more to the listener on a hip-hop level.
ADHD connects.
That's what I mean. Cushion Corinthians connects.
Yeah. Even Rigor Mortis.
Rigor Mortis connects, yes.
Let me ask you this, though, man. I mean, do you have your Damn notes in front of you? Because I do want to talk about Damn real quick, because I think, for me, that's the discussion. Like, maybe I'm bugging, but I'm willing to put this over Damn. Maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment.
I think maybe you are. Here's what I just want to get to my highlight notes, and then we can get to that right quick. I said the videos will be very important to how this project is remembered.
Definitely.
I said, this is another contract fulfillment double album. The Andre influence is still evident. I said, maybe he's been too insulated, but he kind of finding out that he's been outside. I said, where's TDE is the relationship strain? And this was my last note. I said, the pressure is easier when you are younger and more naive to what the pressure is. He has not adjusted well to the pressure. He has become a grown man in his 30s, and he has expressed that. My last thought is, listen to this. The project's well engineered.
Yeah, it is. And I think that that's what, to me, makes N95 and Silent Hill a different kind of listen when you listen back and forth from some of the Pusha T stuff. Because, the Kanye stuff wasn't really engineered that well on It's Almost Dry.
Sounds great. Niggas acting like they broke, like they recorded in the basement, like it's 36 chambers. Like I told you, it's not cool. You got money. This is what I'm talking about. This dude know he got money. This album's well engineered. You hear it on Silent Hill and N95. You hear it on Die Hard. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like engineering matters.
No, it does. Sonics matter, and I think that the way that he positioned this album, especially on the first couple of tracks, Soundwave was trying to take this thing somewhere else sonically. Now, I know we talk about the inconsistency of this album. Where do you think this album's inconsistent?
It just doesn't really captivate you in terms of the replay factor when you want to listen again. When you walk away from the great songs, you said it yourself. Most of the great songs are in relationship to the brilliant writing. Hold on. Name another hip-hop album you say that about that's a classic. Like, for whatever people want to say, and this is what I mean about the content being so heavy too. Okay, so listen to what I'm about to say. Nas's best albums aren't content heavy. Illmatic's not content heavy. It's a timeless theme. It Was Written is not content heavy. Stillmatic, not content heavy. The heaviest theme on Stillmatic is Rewind. It's a story being told backwards. That's the heavy. And What Goes Around. No, What Goes Around is probably the heaviest theme on it. Like, he doesn't spend most great rappers, even on their best projects, don't spend a lot of time getting deep into the rhetoric because it usually doesn't produce classic work. Because it's hard to get that far in depth and it to come off as a classic. That's why we hold It Takes a Nation of Millions so high, because that's the best take on it. It is the album where it's like, well, man, the rhetoric is just superior and supreme and what black people need to hear and effective for the time, but the shit slaps like nobody's business too. The shit slaps like nobody's business too. So It Takes a Nation of Millions is probably the hardest pull off in hip hop history in terms of classic albums because it has the heavy content and subject matter, but you still ride to it. Go to our other classic stuff. The content's not super heavy like this album. It's not super heavy like To Pimp a Butterfly, which is why if you put To Pimp a Butterfly in the canon of great hip hop albums, Good Kid, Mad City is probably going to register higher, even though it's not as clear and as concise and as well put together. People ride to Good Kid, Mad City more. Illmatic, The Purple Tape, Doggy Style, The Chronic, The Low End Theory, Enter the Wu-Tang, Life After Death, Paid in Full, Follow the Leader, The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick. These are not deep content albums. They're not.
Jay Short says, no one does remixes anymore, but this album needs one. And it's funny you said that about remixes. The one song that I thought could have used a remix or can have a remix, once again, Silent Hill. Could you see them just adding more people on that? I would like to see a TDE Black Hippies remix of Silent Hill.
Can totally see Q and Ab-Soul jumping on this track.
Yeah.
Totally. If they want to kind of keep it, how about this? This is what I mean. It sounds Wheels of Steelish. Can't you see Savage and Lil Baby jumping on that beat too?
Oh, yeah. Yo, One Love is on Illmatic. We want to talk about content being amazing.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. That's more of a timeless theme than a deep thought. He's talking about his friend being incarcerated in jail. No, that's not deep when you're from the project. That's what's going on. It's not deep.
I think it's the one concept record on there. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do a concept where I'm writing a letter to my guy that's, taking his summer vacation. Because the original story behind it was, I think, Q-Tip wanted to name the song Summer Vacation or something like that.
Right. But is it rooted in a timeless theme that's going on in the projects, or is it rooted in depth? It's rooted in the timeless theme. One love while you locked up. I got you. No. If you're from the projects, it's like, that's easy. Like, if you ever wrote somebody from jail, that's how we end the letters. One love.
They say Coop's always comparing modern rap to the 80s and 90s. Yeah, we are very removed from those times. The 90s was
I mean,
what,
no,
30
like I
years
said,
ago, Coop.
we can compare it to Good Kid, Mad City, though. Like,
Okay.
that's why I said the themes on Good Kid, Mad City are timeless. Like they're more timeless than this stuff. That's why I said we don't have to go to Illmatic. We can go to Good Kid, Mad City. There's no Money Trees on here either. There's no Backseat Freestyle. There's no Real on here. There's no Sing I'm Dying of Thirst. So it's like, I know I'm an 80s, 90s guy because I was born in the 80s, raised on hip-hop culture in the 90s. But if you want to go to something recent, it's like, well, it's not My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy or Good Kid, Mad City. How about that?
You want to go to Damn real quick?
We can. I got my notes right here. I found them.
Okay. Let's go song for song, man. I wasn't even planning on doing this today, but I was like, you know what? We might as well do it. Damn starts off really strong. Because I know when I first heard DNA, I was like, whoa, this is what we doing?
So this is what I mean. There are more fives on the first half of Damn than there are on all of this entire double album to me.
Okay, so what are you rating DNA on a scale from 1 to 5?
That's a 5. That's one of his best mic performances.
DNA's heavy.
Is it not, hold on, is it not expressing black themes and motifs and archetypes, but still snapping?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. No, he knows how to do this.
What about Ya?
Ya's the weakest song on the first half of the album. I gave it a 3.5.
Okay. All right, Element. I like Element a lot.
5.
Element's a 5.
Yeah. What's wrong with that record?
Not much.
Right, because he has the buy-in. Even his mama was singing it. If I gotta go home, I'm gonna make it look sexy. Right.
Yeah, if I gotta go on, yeah. I pull up, hop out, air out, make it look. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Element's tight. You know, I like the production in Hook Element more than I like his actual verses though.
And his verses are hard.
Yeah, they are.
That's what I'm saying. Element's a 5. Yeah.
Element's a 5. Okay, Phil. I already know the answer to that. I think Phil's one of his more impressive mic performances, period.
I think it might be his most impressive mic performance beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil, I'll go back and listen to Phil over and over again. And I think that the production on Phil is just so dope. It reminds me of some Dungeon Family shit, honestly.
5. Yes, very even in darkness-ish beat-wise.
Yeah. Loyalty.
5. I actually thought this was a 4.5, but the way that this record is actually held up. I think
Loyalty's dope. Yeah.
Loyalty, actually, I think is a better single than All Right.
I think so, too.
I think the beat's better. I think the message.
Too. You know, Rihanna sounds really good on that hook, too.
She does. They sound, I was actually thinking, it makes me wish they did more records together. They sound great together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope record. Pride.
Hold on. Let's stop for a second before we go any further.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. It's already got 4 5s. That's why when people are like, this is a classic, I was like, man, I'm not even sure it's better than Damn. The first half of Damn's better than the entire like project.
Damn starts off very, very strong.
It ends really strong too. That's what I'm saying. So Pride, I gave a 3.5 to. Okay. I wasn't impressed with Pride.
I wasn't a big fan of Pride like that either. Humble.
I gave it a 4, but on a personal level, probably a 3.5.
I'm not a big fan of Humble either.
Me neither.
Yeah.
If you want to give it a 3.5, I'm okay with that, actually.
Okay, 3.5 for Humble. Even though it's a big hit, and I know people in here are going to say, oh, it did all this, numbers, whatever. Lust.
I gave that a 4 out of 5.
What about Love?
That's a 5.
That's a 5. That might be the song that I played the most on this album.
Are you hearing how many 5s are on this album that have replay value? Hold on, listen. The 5s on this album have replay value. They have buy-in. They have him lyrically strong. They have great content and subject matter. What's wrong with that?
Somebody said Humble's better than Loyalty. I don't know, man. I never was a big fan of Humble like that. You know, Humble's better than King Kunta.
Yeah, that's not saying a whole lot.
That's not. I'm just saying, like, he's not really those first traditional style singles. That's not his lane like that. Like,
no, it's not what he does well.
No, it's not. Because even when he dropped "I" from To Pimp a Butterfly before the live version made it on the album, it was getting lukewarm reception. And
You
when
may
I
not
listen to the regular, it's not that good of a record.
do you remember when you and me were texting about hearing the original record? You remember you sent me that, right?
I don't even remember that. What
And
happened? What did I say?
been so long ago. It's been so long ago. I
Right.
think it's been 7 years since you sent me that song. You sent me the original version. You were like, I don't know about this, Coop. And you sent it to me, and I listened to it, and I was like, you ain't tripping. I don't know about it either. I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, that's how he's following up Good Kid, Mad City. I'm like, he is bugging. I was like, you and I both said, this ain't going to cut it. And then the live version came out, and we were like, yeah.
Again, genius move. The fact that they put the live version on there, and the point of the album that they put it on was genius too. You talk about the Outkast comparisons and his the influence the Outkast has on him. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is very Akuma and I-esque, and I think that the original I was kind of Rosa Parks-ish in structure. But it wasn't. No.
You want to know what To Pimp a Butterfly is? And I wrote this in my original review of it. It really is like, or I may have done a post about it on social media. It really is the rhetoric of It Takes a Nation of Millions with the soundscape of Quim.
Mm-hmm. Coop, you there? You breaking up a little bit.
Did you go out?
Huh?
Okay.
Did I go out or back? Okay, yeah, we back.
So it just doesn't replay as well as Aquim and I. Definitely doesn't replay as well as It Takes a Nation of Millions.
No.
That album about as old as we are, Mike.
That album's old, and it's incredible. I think that album created the social conscious hip-hop lane.
No, that lane, I think hip-hop has always been a socially conscious lane. I think that is the pinnacle of it.
It doubled down.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, look, I'm going to make 1 or 2 songs about this.
No,
we're about to go all the way in on this.
Man, I was thinking like, nobody tried to kill Chuck D for talking about Farrakhan like this in '88. I'm like, okay.
XXX.
4 out of 5.
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of that song, really.
That's one of those things where the theme and everything that's put together behind it kind of carried it over that 3.5, because I'm not big on it either. But here's one thing. This is the record where I realized on Damn, everything on Damn is either a 5 or damn near a 3.5. It's like he either knocks it all the way out the park, or you're like, it's just good. Yeah. But he knocks it out the park a whole lot.
Ryan Gillum says, To Pimp a Butterfly sounds more like D'Angelo's album, The Black Messiah. I like that album a lot.
I like The
Black Messiah. That shit was underrated as hell.
I thought it was might be the best R&B album that year. Till It's Done is like one of my all-time favorite records.
That's a dope album, man.
It is.
What about Fear?
Fear I gave a 4.75 to. Fear is beautiful.
Oh, man, you went all the way in the percentiles on that one. I thought we were just...
I mean, we can give it a 4.5 if you want. I don't want to go all the way to 5 to it because it's not as good as the other 5s on here, which is DNA, Feel, Element, Loyalty, and Love. It's not that, but it's the next step down.
This is the thing, though, and I think this is what separates Mr. Morale from this for me. I think as a writer, if he got another crack at Feel, based on the writer that he is on this album, Feel's even that much more impressive.
You mean Fear or Feel?
Feel. I'm sorry, Fear. Excuse me.
Fear. Okay, so here's what I would submit to you. Because of that in-depthness that you're talking about, well, DNA would suffer. Element would suffer. Feel would suffer. Loyalty would suffer.
It's a sliding scale, right?
Right. All the other 5s would suffer for this one 5, and so I don't agree with that. Being a better writer doesn't mean that you're a better MC. This is the proof, is what I'm saying. Because he's a better writer on Mr. Morale, but he's just brilliant enough as a writer and great enough as an MC and connecting with how he is putting these hip-hop songs together on Damn, that even though I think the Damn is still better, but we can go ahead and finish up because I got one more 5 to get to on.
DeCarlo says Fear is a 5, definitely better than Love and Loyalty.
See, and a lot of people feel that way, and if you feel that way, I understand why. I just don't think it connects the way Love and Loyalty does. All right.
You're talking about from a song format, and I know we're really big on that. I know I am. God.
How can we be big on albums and not be big on the songs that create the album?
I agree.
Right. God, I got a 4.5.
4.5. Duckworth.
5.
You giving Duckworth a 5? All right.
Yeah, Duckworth's a 5. Duckworth's one of the best rap stories ever, Mike. So he's got, in my opinion, on this album, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 fives and possibly 7 if you believe in Fear like that. Mr. Moran and the Big Steppers don't have that, and it's 18 tracks.
So we got DNA 5, you got Ya 3.5, we got Element 5, Feel 5, Loyalty 5, Pride 3.5, Humble 3.5, Lust 4, Love 5, XXX 4, Fear 4.5, God 4.5, and Duckworth 5.
Yes. That's 6 fives out of how many songs? What, 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hitting the mark. He's connecting like a motherfucker.
He is connected. So, guess that brings me to my next question. Where's Kendrick Lamar all time as an MC?
Do we have LL at number 10?
We did. Let's just go ahead and list them. Let's go ahead and list them. Is Kendrick Lamar better than Tupac? Would you put him ahead of Tupac?
Have you not just heard I was talking about All Eyes on Me?
All right, so you got Tupac ahead. Is Kendrick better than Biggie? Just based on his body of work and based on his lyrical skill, based on the songs that he's put together, based on his career so far, you got Kendrick ahead of Biggie? No? What if someone says Biggie has 2 albums, Coop? And
no, that's what everybody says, and I'm going to say this to everybody that understands this. I want people to understand this. This is how great and how epic this man is. That off the strength of 2 albums, remixes, guest appearances, and Junior Mafia projects, he belongs in this conversation because he created the type of catalog in about a 3 or 4 year period that most people, if you look at their careers in the same 3 to 4 year gaps, they couldn't even fuck with him on their best day. If he would have lived, he probably would be the greatest MC of all time. And it probably wouldn't be much of a conversation if he kept on trending the way that he was trending. He belongs every day of the week, backwards, forwards. There's not I don't know if Jay and Nas to this day have 20 better songs. To this day, do you understand what I am saying?
Yeah, Memphis Bleak was saying that the only person that could see Jay in the verses.
No.
Memphis said that the only person that could see Jay in the verses is Biggie, and Biggie only got 2 albums.
Look here. Biggie's catalog still got Nas and Jay shook up on the top half of it. You feel me? Like the top half, high end of it. Yeah, he can still shake them down in a verses. He ain't even been here the last 25 years. Yeah, it's like that.
Shout out to Jamar with the super chat. He says, besides his place in life, do either of you think that the poster affects his approach on this album? I think so. I think that it sounds like Kendrick's approach is definitely a post-Pulitzer Prize post. I was telling Coop offline, sounds like he's trying to win a
Nobel Prize?
Not a Nobel Prize. What is it when you're on Broadway?
Tony.
A Tony, yeah. Sounds like he's trying to win a Tony with this album.
No, I told you, this album is a play. Yeah, this album is a play. Yeah. Okay, how about this? And here's where I don't like. People immediately go to Big and Pac because they died and because of the brevity of the catalog. So, do we want to make this a living list or just an all-time list with everybody involved?
I think we could do a little bit of both. I mean, when we talk about all time, you talk about all time.
Right. Well, let's just get it straight. He's not better than Big or Pac all time. I don't care what the brevity of catalog looks like. Even with his 5 albums, you can go through
even
his 5
with
albums.
Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, and Mr. Morale.
Listen to what I am saying. If we were to line Biggie's 30 best songs up, and he don't got a lot. If we were to line Biggie's 30 best songs up with Kendrick's 30 best songs, you understand Kendrick probably catching the fade on about 20, 25 records, right? You understand that, right?
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
Do you think it's a straight up MC? You see both of them rhyming on the block. Well, who are you picking?
Biggie's the most versatile MC who ever lived. And his second voice is better than Kendrick's second and third voice. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, he got him beat every which way. Kendrick is only he's a more intricate writer, and he expresses the black struggle. Biggie Smalls does not do that. But every other box checks Biggie.
So we got Nas and Jay-Z ahead of Kendrick, right?
Yes.
All right, Rakim.
Yeah.
Peace to the God. All
Got
right.
it.
Now where are we at now?
We're at Ice Cube, Ghostface, and Scarface, and
Okay.
KRS.
All right. All right. Now here's the discussions.
Yep. Because he's not top five, because I just gave you top five.
Is he better than Ice Cube?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to quibble with you
And
about.
Ice Cube is one of my favorite rappers ever.
Because you're more of an Ice Cube fan than I am. How do you feel about his catalog, content, rhetoric, and classic statics wise in reference to Cube? Because Cube's got America's Most, Death Certificate, Lethal Injection, and The Predator. And he's got Straight Outta Compton.
Mm-hmm.
And West Side Connections album, which is a classic West Coast album. That's actually a rap classic to me. West Side Connections album is a rap classic to me.
Yeah.
And so
he has A Good Day, and he has Kill It Will.
I forgot about Killer Will. See, it's ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, how about this? The thing with Cube and Kendrick, it's like, well, how you really feel about Kendrick's albums? Because what I would tell you is that Ice Cube's albums are better.
The problem with Cube,
because he got that
in relation to Kendrick,
checking all the boxes. Cube be checking every last box.
You're right. The problem with Cube in relation to Kendrick is we experienced the fall off where we haven't in Kendrick yet.
I don't really know if we experienced the fall off.
Well, you know what I mean. It ain't even. It's sad to say it like this.
We only got one album that wasn't up to standard to what he hadn't done, and guess what? That was about a 5-year break? Wasn't that a 4-year break?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to give Kendrick credit for coming back better, because War and Peace don't have shit on Mr. Morale and the Big Seven. Hold on, wasn't War and Peace a 2-disc set?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have nothing on this. But that's why I said, well, how do you feel about those first 4 projects, though? Because this is what I mean about checking boxes. I don't want anybody from the West Coast to lie about this, and I want people from the West Coast to chime in on this. Whoever we got this watching on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me y'all be out there playing the stuff from Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn more than you play the stuff from America's Most and Death Certificate and Lethal Injection and Straight Outta Compton. And that's what I'm talking about checking those boxes. What boxes is he even checking in his own neighborhood when you got somebody like Cube to go up against in this all-time conversation? Is To Pimp a Butterfly better than America's Most Wanted or Death Certificate? Is Good Kid, Mad City better? Because what I would tell you is that as much as I love Good Kid, Mad City, I would probably give Death Certificate the edge. And you probably would too.
Yeah. And even songs that are like on the back end, like Young Nigga Doing Dumb Shit, like those are brilliant records that don't even get talked about on Death Certificate.
He's brilliant.
Like that.
He's
A
brilliant.
Bird in the Hand.
Hold on, you're the one that turned me and got me off the fact that it's like, cool, America's Most and Cube's best album is actually Death Certificate because he's a better MC. And I went back and listened to it and I'm like, Mike is right. He's
True
actually
to the game. Colorblind. Yeah. No Vaseline's on there.
No Vaseline. Yeah.
Nigga you love to hate. Black Korea.
You love to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Good Kid, Mad City's not as good as Death Certificate. And I don't think
even that song where he's going through the hospital after he got shot. That shit is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, so hold on. So Cube's top level is just as good as your top level, if not better. He checks more boxes and connects more. Hello.
You know, I think on a rapidy rap level, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way.
Kendrick's a better lyricist.
Kendrick is a better rapidy rapper, but is he a better writer than Cube consistently? Because Cube has some really great writing moments, like I was talking about.
Where do you think some of Kendrick's rhetoric comes from? Like it's straight out of like Tupac and Ice Cube's handbook, and so that's what I'm saying. He's a more detail-oriented writer than Ice Cube and Tupac. That does not make you a better writer. That makes you a more detail-oriented writer. That's why I said no. Off this album, we'll put him in that all-time great writers conversation. Ice Cube, Nas, Scarface, Tupac. No. He's in that conversation as a writer. As an MC, I would still have him after those guys.
Nas the GOAT says, is K-Dot's catalog better than Tupac and Cube's?
It's better than Tupac's. It's not better than Cube's.
Is it better than Tupac's, though? Because the same thing you said for Biggie, I think could go for Pac, too. If Kendrick sat there in a verses with Pac, he would have a time on his hands. Now I think
no.
with Kendrick, what we're talking about, we're talking about album for album. But like you said, we gotta pull these songs out.
That's why, okay, so that goes to one of those things. Kendrick's a better album maker than Pac, but he's not a better song maker than Pac. And so when you start pulling those songs out, so how about this? Kendrick, even for whatever I think, okay, Overly Dedicated in Tupac's catalog is still better than Tupacalypse Now. And probably on par with Strictly for My Niggas, because Strictly for My Niggas is brilliant but inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to have like that Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, Volume 1 and 2 Machiavelli conversation, he's right there. And he connects in a way that Kendrick never has connected. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying he is better? Because part of this rap shit is connecting to your audience and your listener.
Where the California love at? Where the Live and Die in LA at?
Damn all that. Where the Brenda's Got a Baby at? With all these black themes that you express so beautifully. You don't even have a Brenda's Got a Baby. That was Pac's first shot. He wasn't even the writer that he became then.
Keep your head up. Where's that at?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, no, he's not better than Pac. Because Pac is expressing the same black themes, but you're connected to it. And though it seems heaven sent, we ain't ready to have a black president. Yeah.
Mad Max says, today was a good day. It's better than K-Dot's catalog. Like, come on.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have the songs that measure himself on the high end of this conversation. When you start talking about Biggie and Pac and Cube, they have the songs, they have the catalog, and Cube and Pac's place, they got the equal rhetoric and subject matter. It's who you grew up on and got your content and your subject matter from.
You know what? Let's address the elephant in the room. I think the thing is that Kendrick makes albums better than most MCs all time ever did. But where his shortcomings come from is he doesn't have those individual songs that match the accolades of his albums, which makes him unique and very hard to compare. And I think that even when we talked about Busta Rhymes earlier, Busta Rhymes is the inverse of that, where Busta Rhymes has the big songs, but not the albums that people hold high culturally.
So this is exactly what I was about to say. So because of those things, well, I think you can put him ahead of somebody like Busta Rhymes. But you can't put him ahead of LL, and we got LL at 10. LL's got singles that are larger than Kendrick Lamar's albums in terms of their weight and influence in the hip-hop sphere. Do you understand what I'm saying?
We'll get to LL in a second. Mike H says, everybody sleeps on Thug Life. Yeah, that was a dope album.
Thug Life Volume 1 was dope, too.
Yeah.
Pour Out a Little Liquor on Above the Rim. Where's the Pour Out a Little Liquor?
Incredible record. All right, so we're putting Ice Cube ahead of him, right?
Duh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like for some of these dudes, it's like, how about this? It doesn't even become a conversation for me till we kind of get to Ghost.
I love Ghost, and I think everybody who knows me knows Ghost is probably my favorite MC. I don't want to be biased here, but see, again, you know what makes this different? The Wu-Tang stuff.
Ghost got that Wu-Tang.
The Purple tape makes this different too.
No, it ain't just. No, it's not just this. This is what I'm saying. He said it on the Champ on Fifth Scale. Back east, I'm an MC king. Since Cuban, Pretty Tone, Iron Man, Bulletproof, and Supreme. He didn't even bring up the Wu-Tang albums. He just went to the Ray and Ghost shit.
His performance on Wu-Tang Forever is epic. It's a coming out party.
His performance is epic. Everything that he did, pretty much post Enter the Wu-Tang up until Fish Scale, is epic, Mike. Everything. Like Iron Man. But
what makes this a conversation is, what makes this an interesting conversation is the fact that he doesn't have the smash hit songs that, let's say, like a LL or, Ice Cube or whatever may have in their catalog. Whereas I think that's what made it really tough for Kendrick to jump ahead of some of the people that we mentioned before.
Well, no, there's something that kind of needs to be discussed that's an elephant in the room, too, and that's the fact that of all these top-notch guys, well, Kendrick's best album is as good as their best album because it's Good Kid, Mad City better than Supreme Clientele.
I don't think so.
No. The answer is, that's what I'm saying. And so when you start putting him into these conversations where it's this high, it's like, Oh, no, 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 no. Like, you could put him in that room, but understand who he is in that room. You
Do
get
you
what I'm
think
saying?
that you will be able to convince somebody who grew up on Kendrick that Ghost is better than Kendrick?
Probably not. But what I
Because
would
people
submit,
in the chat are saying that we're changing the criteria, and I don't want to do that. We want to be consistent, and we want to make
okay,
sure that we're
so,
fair and balanced here.
no, no, no. So let's be fair and black balanced. So let's say you're calling, um, let's say that Good Kid, Mad City is considered a hip hop classic, right?
Right.
And let's say To Pimp a Butterfly is considered a hip hop classic, right?
Yeah.
And Damn. Okay?
I guess over time, Damn has reached that. Yeah.
Okay. And let's say you even feel that way about Section 80, so he has 4. Okay? Listen to what I'm about to say, and this is why it's like, well, no, we're not tripping. Well, is Iron Man a classic?
Yeah.
Is Supreme Clientele a classic?
Yep.
Bulletproof Wallets a classic?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Some people do. Do you think the Fish Scale is a classic?
I don't think Fish Scale's a classic.
Okay, so let's say right now, Ghost has 2 identifiable classics.
Well, I do think Only Built for Cuban Links is a classic. And
no, we haven't got there yet. No, we're going there. That's what I'm saying. Let's keep on addressing it so people understand. So we don't. So I don't look like I'm saying get off my lawn. So we got Iron Man and Supreme right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think Supreme's better than Good Kid, Mad City, which is? Do you think Supreme's better than anything Kendrick Lamar's ever made? Yes or no?
I do. I mean, it's one of the best albums I think it's probably the best hip hop album of the 2000s, in my opinion.
I could still. You still have valid claim when you say that. So. He's got Iron Man. He's got Supreme. There's this whole thing that he co-authored called the Purple Tape. Not just 1, but 2.
Yeah. Forgot about the second one. Yeah.
There's that whole Wu-Tang Forever thing, right?
Yeah.
There's that whole Enter the Wu-Tang thing, right?
Yeah.
So
and for those that are saying it's unfair that we mention those, it's not unfair. That's their work. You know what's unfair is people putting Andre 3000 in their top 10 just on Outkast work. But y'all want to sit here and talk like the group efforts don't work for the people who are solo artists. Like, come on, what are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so Andre's top 10 with no solo material, but Ghost got 2 solo classics, 2 other great albums.
And people in here are saying Fish Scale is a classic, so.
I feel like Fish Scale is a classic too. I told you I think Fish Scale is a classic.
I like the Pretty Tony LP.
Ghost shit go like this to me: Supreme, Iron Man, Fish Scale, Bulletproof, Pretty Tony, and I think the first 3 are classic, and the next 2 are borderline. Yeah. And that's not counting the Purple Tape. The Purple Tape 2, Enter the Wu-Tang and Wu-Tang Forever, and people acting like Kendrick. Like the question is how much classic material has Kendrick done in relationship to what's Ghost done, not the other way around. You see how people try to change the narrative? It ain't about how much classic shit Ghost done. It's like, no, has Kendrick done the classic shit that Ghost has done, not the other way around.
I can't believe people are in here talking about you can't count the group stuff when there's a nigga that y'all sat here and only count his group shit for his whole legacy. It's crazy. What are we talking about? So just because somebody was able to go out there successfully and have a successful solo career, their group stuff doesn't matter anymore. But for the other guy who has no solo career and only group stuff, his group stuff is his catalog. That's wild.
Hold on. Here's how you know that people are being biased. And this is exactly what I'm about to tell people. You can't go to the group stuff. Tell me what hip-hop looks like without Enter the Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang Forever, and the Purple Tape.
Mad Max with the super chat says, if songs make the album, hold on, the chat's going fast right now. Hold on, let me get to his super chat. I want to get to it.
That is off the chain. That is off the chain.
Mad Max says, if songs make albums, why is Kendrick's albums held so high? No disrespect to him. I don't play one album of his as much as I play Illuminati album by Pop, or It Was Written.
Facts.
So many K-Dot got like 4 classics. People say K-Dot got 4 classics, and again, I think we're appreciating like the way that it was crafted, the way it was put together. But when you start breaking these things apart, how well would it play in, let's say, like a versus type format? And I guess people will say, well, he doesn't make music for that, but the other people did all of the things. Mad Max corrected himself. He said he does not have 4 classics.
No, he doesn't. But what I keep trying to say is that if you actually just look at Ghost's solo catalog, because I feel just like this. Ghost got 3 classics. Kendrick got 3 classics. And they both have 2 dope projects right after it that are borderline. But then there's this whole purple tape thing in Wu-Tang Forever and Enter the Wu-Tang.
We can't act like those things didn't happen. And like you said,
with trying to act like Wu-Tang Forever didn't happen. Like Ghost verse on Impossible didn't happen.
Right.
Like Ghost in Criminology and on Ice Water and on Glaciers of Ice like didn't happen. No. That happened. Ghost on Can It All Be So Simple happened.
I'll tell you this. If Method Man does a versus, and Ghostface did one too, him and Raekwon, you gonna tell Method Man he can't play Wu-Tang songs that he made a big impact on?
You sound
right. That's part of his catalog and their catalog. So I guess he can't do METHOD. He can't go out there and do his verse from Triumph or whatever.
Right. Hold on. Ghost just out-rapped Kendrick on his own album.
Xavier Logistics says Kendrick is the Billie Eilish. 1, amazing talent and creativity. 2, mid music. 3, insufferable fan base. Not the Billie Eilish of hip-hop.
I'm about to jump in the Who is Billie Eilish? I'm jumping back.
The singer. You know who Billie Eilish is. All right. Look. So we're putting Ghostface ahead of him.
Yeah, listen. He
Scarface.
just got did he not just get done out-rapping him on his own album? Kendrick is like Ghost is like a whole era before Kendrick. He just out-rapped him on this album.
Well, I don't think Kendrick really tried on the record, but
hey, don't nobody care about all that, Mike. Like
listen, you know me, man. I think that Ghost is a better rapper than Kendrick anyway. I mean, that's just me.
He is a better rapper, and he has the catalog to prove it.
Yeah.
And for whatever Kendrick is as a storyteller, this album just got him in Ghost level as a storyteller. Like now you're in Ghost territory as a storyteller. Like welcome to the club of this detail-oriented story writing. Because Ghost is the most detail-oriented of all the storytellers.
He is. Salt Rain, Saltwater Tap, Iron Man, Bubble Bath, Nucleus, split the atom in half. Dumb It Down says, y'all seeing how illogical the Kendrick stands are.
Some of
they won't be happy unless you put them in the top 5. And y'all encouraging having this conversation. K-Dot is overrated. Well, sometimes we have to break these things down and discuss them.
Somebody said put Ghostface above Kendrick as an MC, but not as an artist, please. Yes, but this is hip hop, and we talking about MC.
Yeah, we're talking about the MC list here.
Right. So it's the greatest MCs of all time, not the greatest artists of all time.
That's a whole nother conversation because at that point, Kanye's number 1.
And Lupe gets way, way higher up on this list and people start falling down like Biggie and Jay.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about best hip-hop artists, no one's even competing with Kanye.
Conversation over.
Yeah. Shout out to Reggie with the super chat. He says, can you and Coop do a show listing your top 25 MCs and providing the best verse from each? Then comparing the 2 lists and let the chat vote on it. I like that idea.
I love that
Let me go ahead and save this.
Yeah, write that down. Take a picture.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this.
You should take a photograph.
Good stuff.
Remember Chameleonaire's song Photograph? That was the jam.
Not Chameleonaire.
Yeah, Photograph was the jam.
Hey,
I think Bun was on there. Bun was on there. Bun B's on Photograph. Yeah, snapping. Yeah. All
right, so we got Tupac ahead of him, Biggie ahead of him, Nas ahead of him, Jay-Z ahead of him, Rakim, Ice Cube, Ghostface. That's 7. So, Scarface, anybody?
I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a motherfucker would right now talk about his catalog because this is where he's not better than Scarface. His number 1 attribute is Scarface's number 1 attribute. And Scarface has the better voice, is the better storyteller, and has him in spades on what he does best, which is put an album together from beginning to end. I wish a motherfucker would. Right
I want to ask the people in the chat. Because I already know where you stand, Coop. Who's the better MC all time? Kendrick Lamar or Scarface?
Right now. Because we're going to run down Scarface's whole catalog.
Let's run it down. Shit. Yeah. I mean, because we got Overly Dedicated here, right? We got Section 80, because I was skipping Overly Dedicated. Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly. He going to need Untitled, Unmastered for this. and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
That's what he got? No.
That's what we got.
That's not going to cut it. That is not going to cut it.
Let me see.
I'm not
Kendrick
gonna cut
Lamar
it
is not better than Scarface. Next. Yes, Face is
Right.
better than Kendrick Lamar. Scarface.
Right.
Kendrick.
Next.
Scarface don't get his flowers. Y'all capping right now. Face easy.
Next.
Mike,
Right.
Mr. H says Kendrick. Rigor Raw says Scarface top 5.
Possibly. I got the number 6 person.
Scarface. Kendrick.
Damn right.
Both faces are better than K-Dot.
Damn
Face.
right. You're damn right.
Kendrick. I saw Lil Wayne's name pop up.
No. We can talk about Wayne. Wayne's
We'll
not
talk
the top.
about Wayne in a second.
No. What we're going to talk about is Mr. Scarface is back, The Diary, The Untouchable, My Homies, The Last of a Dying Breed, The Fix, My Homies Part 2, Made, Emeritus, Deeply Rooted. That's what we're going to talk about. That's what an album career sounds like. There's not a bad project on his album catalog. And people understand this man has been around since the late 80s. There's not a bad album on his solo catalog. He's never made a bad album.
Antonio says y'all should put Reggie's idea in the 22 yearbook. We should. Or do a whole separate book of notes. Yeah, for the people in the room, go get the yearbook. It's on Amazon. Just put in according to hip hop. Both yearbooks are there, 2020 and 2021. And yeah, we're creating 2022 right now with all this great content that we're getting.
Well, we're gonna hold on. I just saw Leroy said, yeah, because Pac died, so you view him different. No. Was you outside when Pac was outside? Because let me tell you something about when Pac was outside. Jay and Big and Nas didn't have shit on Pac when Pac was outside. How about that?
The thing is, man, when you listen to Pac's records...
Leroy up here talking crazy now. That's crazy.
When you listen to Pac's records, they age so well.
You remember All Eyes on Me? Like, you know why Life After Death got made, fool? Like, come on.
Yeah, no. Pac's on a different level, man.
You know who the real trendsetter in the 90s is, right? It ain't Big and Pac. I mean, it ain't Big and Nas and Jay because they all took from that guy.
Yeah, no, it's for real. And it's not because Pac's no longer here. Man, I mean, you could see Pac's influence on Biggie, straight up. And I know a lot of New Yorkers don't want to admit that.
Pac's whole steez is Biggie's steez. Make a joint for the streets that the fellas can gravitate to. Make a joint for the ladies that they can party to. Yeah. Biggie even talks about how he got that formula from Pac. Stop that. And where Jay get his formula from, by the way?
Well,
right.
He got his from Big.
Hold up. Wait, might have some truth going on right here.
What's going on?
I wish a motherfucker would. Understand?
Hold on. Yeah, people are talking about the yearbook. Yeah, I mean, I think not everybody is aware of the yearbook. Let me make sure that we got that in the description. Because somebody said, I can't wait for y'all second one. This is about to be the third one that we're creating.
The third one. We already got two. We got 2020 and 2021.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put all that in the description where you guys can get to it. But while that's loading up.
You remember Homies and Thugs? Remember Homies and Thugs with Master P and Tupac?
Listen, man, the thing is, when you listen to Pac's music, and you can say whatever you want or whatever, you listen to his music and how well it's aged, this stuff, it's not stuff that anybody's coming up with. Like, this is special. This is timeless.
So he creatively is really a genius. If you want to talk about somebody being a creative genius and not pulling from somebody and conceptually coming up with his own thoughts and making it brilliant classic material, Pac.
He was pulling from Marvin Gaye. He was pulling from things that weren't hip-hop.
No, like, he was pulling from Prince, too. Like, when he's talking about, now everybody wants to get the ladder. That was a song from Around the World in the Day, The Ladder. Everybody wants to climb the ladder. Like, he was pulling from soul artists. Yeah.
All right. So, we got Cube, Face, and Face. Where do you stand on this KRS-One thing? Yeah, I know, man.
This is going to be... Okay, so... I think we both realize KRS-One is a superior MC to LL, which is kind of why KRS is ahead, and because KRS has more classic solo material album-wise, and still has enough classic solo singles to be viable. So what I would say is, how heavy is the weight of KRS's crown right now? Like how do people really feel about the first two BDP albums? Because like I said, actually, this is the first guy to make classic, I think, group material and then solo material. Like, he's the first to do that. He's the first guy to be part of a group and have classic solo material with the group, and then have the classic solo material as well. MC wise, lyrically, he is, on a Rakim and Nas and Black Thought level. He's got records.
Well, the
He's got
BDP stuff
albums.
is just him as an MC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
mean, technically you could go to that. Yeah. I mean, even if you wanted to classify it that way, but Boogie Down Productions is still a group, and most of the classic stuff that he's known for, as far as it being considered classic, comes from there. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But he also has Return to the Boom Bap. He has the KRS-One album. He has I Got Next.
Yep.
KRS-One's been around forever, and I mean, he's the creator of the 10-bar rhyme style. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Hold on. I'm about to put the yearbook in the chat real quick. We got the digital version, and we actually got the paperback version. I want to know, for the people in the chat, who y'all got, KRS or Kendrick? Nas the GOAT says, I feel that it's based on eras. This era may not feel the 80s and the 90s music, just like the old era may not feel this era's music.
I feel subjective. Though that's not fair. See, that's not fair when you say that, because
but it hits you different though when it hits you in your formative years, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. I can't love Good Kid, Mad City the way that I love Illmatic because of the time in my life that it came out. But I always contextualize it in the same regard because of.
It's hard to do so.
No, but I understand what people may be going through when they're hearing this stuff, and that's why it's like, well, even when I went back to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, it's like, okay, well, let's go to All Eyes on Me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, let's go and look back at his predecessor in terms of content and subject matter. And because I think even when it comes to like how he puts together songs, he's more Tupac-like than even Nas-like, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
You're mad close to the camera right now. I don't know if you can see that. No, it's all good. Jay Short says, younger fans need to stop complaining about nostalgia. If you want hip-hop credibility, make hip-hop albums. You want to do something different? Cool. But you got to do rap for rap credibility.
Yes, he's right. This is what I mean about checking the boxes. He's speaking to what I'm talking about when I'm checking the boxes. Is like, don't come into this game emceeing and then make it to a place of notoriety and be like, oh, I don't want to MC anymore. MCing is not important. It's like, yes, it is. It's how you got here. It's how you made your keep. It's how you earned your bones. That's why I loved hearing him rap the way that he rapped on Damn, because like, To Pimp a Butterfly was so glorified and considered to be so socially conscious and politicized. It's like, nigga, just go rap your ass off. Like, are you the best rapper? And on Damn, it's like, oh no, he's the best rapper, and I can hear him rapping his ass off like it.
It looks like people are putting Kendrick over KRS. Antonio with the super chat says, everyone claims we're being nostalgic with the rankings, needs to do their homework. Witnessing the past and the current material shaping these conversations. Yeah. Let me go ahead.
Reggie just brought up that KRS-One verse on Mad Isms. See, that's what I'm saying. KRS-One is so rooted in the fundamentals of hip-hop, in the history of hip-hop in a way that Kendrick isn't. And let's go back to this catalog thing once again, which is Kendrick's, like, usually his saving point, right?
Yeah.
So let's go pull up Boogie Down Productions catalog right quick, because this is what I mean. It's like, no, he's not the only guy walking around with like 3 or 4 possible classics. Every other guy on this list is walking around like that. You understand what I'm saying? Every other guy on this list that lived long enough to make classic albums has about 3 or 4 or 5 classics walking around. Rakim got 3, 4 classics walking around. Nas, Jay, Pac, Q, KRS. Like, no, this is part of it. So he's in the discussion, but he's not superseding these guys based on albums when we don't even know if these are better hip-hop albums.
I just put the information to the yearbook in the chat, and it's pinned to the top.
Listen to the Boogie Down Productions discography. This is not what's considered his solo discography, and you're right, he's doing 90%, 95% of the rhyming on these 5 albums. This is Criminal Minded, By All Means Necessary, Ghetto Music, The Blueprint of Hip Hop. That's the Ether line.
Yeah.
KRS already made an album called Blueprint. This is why he's saying that. Edutainment, 1990, Sex and Violence, 92. Mike, these are all 4.25s and above. I don't want people to understand that all of these albums are like above 4 mic albums.
And KRS is still putting out quality work and still performing at a high level.
These 5 albums are all above 4 mics, and on a bad day, 4. On a bad day, these are 4s. And then you have Return of the Boom Bap. You got the KRS-One album with MCs Act Like They Don't Know and Rappers Are in Danger. And All Yeah off the Panther soundtrack. And you got I Got Next with Step Into the World. Like, come on.
It's hard to put K-Dot over KRS.
Like it's cool to be current, but what's your hip hop history look like? Because putting Kendrick ahead of KRS is saying that these 5 albums aren't as important anymore, and neither are those other 3 albums. He got 8 albums to compare to Kendrick's 5.
And he's still coming out with shit.
He's got more classic hip hop songs, and he dropped a dope album this year.
Yeah, he does have more classic hip hop songs. I mean, my philosophy is more important than any Kendrick record, I believe.
So is The Bridge Is Over.
And so is The Bridge Is Over. I was gonna say South Bronx.
South Bronx, 9mm Goes Bang, Love's Gonna Get You, Jack of Spades, Rappers Are in Danger.
I can't do it. I'm putting KRS there. Man.
Step Into a World. And let's not get into the live performance aspect of this.
No.
Because on this top 10 list, somebody needs to be great live, and he would be that guy too.
This is the thing I'm going to say, and I'm probably going to get hit with all kind of stones. I would put Kendrick over Kane, unfortunately. Now, do I think Kane is nice? Yeah, I can live with that. I can't live with the KRS one. Not yet.
I can't because Kane's catalog just is not even comparable with Kendrick's catalog. Whether we like it or not, Kendrick's catalog is superseding Kane.
And we even saw in that Versus, though, when it was Kane and KRS, like KRS just has so much. And there was a lot of stuff that he didn't do. Okay. So we got right now Pac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Rakim, Ice Cube, Ghostface, Scarface. That's 8. How do y'all feel about LL Cool J? And I'm scared to ask because LL always gets shitted on. No, let's go comment. Let's rewind.
No, hold on. We got 9, don't we? Hold on.
No, we got 8.
2. Nas, Rakim, J, Big, Pac, Q, Scarface, Ghostface, KRS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 9.
Is it?
Yeah, Nas, Rakim, J, Big. That's 4.
Oh, it is 9. I'm tripping. That's 9. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nas the GOAT says, is K-Dot the GOAT of this era, in y'all opinion? I think he is.
Yes.
And see, I was on the fence between him and J. Cole, but I think album for album is what it is. Ryan Gillum says, I'm a 28-year-old who was born in 1994, and I would never in my life put KRS over K-Dot.
Okay. But you're 28. Kendrick's 34.
Okay, right. I will ask you this, Ryan.
Right,
who would you put over K-Dot then from a previous era, and why?
Hold on, we just picked. Hold on. First of all, I want people to understand this. As far as the previous era is concerned, we've already got him ahead of Kane and Slick Rick from the 80s. So he's already past Kane and Slick Rick.
I put him ahead of Chuck, and I love Chuck.
He's ahead of Chuck, too. Hold on, you want to know who else he's ahead of? He's ahead of every member of Wu-Tang except for Ghostface. He's ahead
of Kool G Rap too.
He's ahead of Kool G Rap. He's ahead of Q-Tip, Mike.
Yeah, he is. Q-Tip's my guy.
He's ahead of Prodigy from Mobb Deep. He's ahead of my guy.
Man Ned says KRS and True Master Meta Historic 2010 Super. Jay Short with the super chat as well. It's coming through right now. Jay Short says, hold on 1 second, y'all. Jay Short says, hey, the chat is just moving. My bad. I apologize for that.
Chat popping.
All right. Popping today. He says, that era argument don't fly. We didn't grow up in the 70s, but we knew that Marvin and Stevie were on another level. We didn't pretend they didn't exist.
Right. Like, hold on. We live in a world where we have literally Michael Jackson and Prince ingrained in our mind, and there is no comeuppance of touching them. And they are literally a generation before us, Mike.
I was never going to tell my dad in the 90s, like, yo, R. Kelly way better than Marvin Gaye. What you talking about?
Because, you want to know why? Hold on. Because if you listen to the album and the material, Mike, even the younger you knew that was a damn lie.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The damn lie. It's not the truth.
I hate when they try to compare certain people to Michael Jackson. It's like, man, come on, man. This ain't even right. Like, I understand the excitement and everything, but like I said in the previous show, man, when Michael Eric Dyson got on the Breakfast Club talking about Beyonce's better than Michael Jackson, like, nigga, you are my mom's age. You know better than this. Cut it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you grew up on the Jackson 5. Cut it out.
Look, he deserved to be slapped in the elevator again for talking like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, bro.
Come on.
Like,
man.
you trying to get a book or something on Beyonce or something? You trying to get exclusives? Jordan House says, where do y'all have Jada ranked in relation to Kendrick? It's funny, we've talked about that on the show before.
So
I think
hold
Kendrick's
on.
just ahead, in my opinion.
So this is what I will tell you is that, hold on. We're at 9 right now. You want to do this LL thing? Because right after LL, I have Black Thought, Jada Kiss, Redman, Pusha T, Kane, Cool G Rap, DMX, Snoop, Common, Raekwon, like all right there with Kendrick. So
all those people you named, I
Common,
would be okay with him being ahead of, with the exception of Common, maybe.
I was actually thinking about Kiss and Redman and Black Thought as well. But
Black Thought's a whole different animal. Let's get to
let's do the
LL.
LL thing. Let's do the LL thing because LL singles are bigger than like Kendrick's catalog. So
I mean, because right now when we talking about Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Rakim, Ice Cube, Ghostface, Scarface, KRS-One, and yeah, LL falls right in line with that. What do you guys think? Does Kendrick go ahead of LL Cool J?
Listen to what you're saying when you say that.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you know. But again, two polar opposites. And I think that when we talk about the dynamic between Busta Rhymes and that whole I got big hits but don't have albums that people hold this high, LL kind of falls in line with that too to a certain extent.
I feel the same way except for one thing, Mike. And here's where Busta suffers. Busta suffers because of somebody like L, because Busta got hits, but the hits not like L's, are they?
Who got Nobody's hits are like L's.
Like L. Yeah. Who got hits like L?
Nobody.
The
closest is Jay, I guess you would say, but even that, I think, falls short. Actually, you know what? You're right. It's Pac. And when you said all that stuff about Pac earlier, I was like, well, that formula comes from LL. Being able to make records for the ladies and making some hardcore shit. It was like Pac just took it to another level with the consciousness. Like, Pac is a combination of LL, Chuck D, and Ice Cube.
He is.
Ray Rims with the super chat says, do you rank Kendrick above Future?
Stop that.
I don't like talking about Future, man, because it's like it's so hard to really classify him, man. Y'all just want me to call Future James Brown, I'm sure.
All right, that's what they want. It is what they want.
But okay, so LL and Kendrick. Okay, how would you convince somebody of Kendrick's era who just heard Auntie's Diaries, who heard Mother I Sober, who could point out Phil that LL Cool J is ahead of Kendrick Lamar? Where's your evidence when you say evidence?
The evidence is just in the gravity of the shape the game is taking and how he's responsible for it as a solo MC. He's rap's first real big solo superstar. Like, he's rap's first big solo superstar. Like Curtis Blow Curtis Blow and Kool Moe Dee are not the stars that LL Cool J is. And Run DMC is a group. You get what I'm saying? NWA, Public Enemy, group. DJ and rapper combos. This guy was a solo act from 1985. So his cultural relevance and significance, he's impacted the game in so many ways, down to how people dress, how people interview, black business. He's the reason Def Jam fucking exists. He's the reason FUBU fucking exists. He's the reason that these rappers even make songs about women. Like no rappers were talking about women in their rhymes until LL Cool J made I Need Love. You can literally go check it. It's like they literally talk about women like it's like an apostrophe in a sentence. You know what I'm saying? And then I Need Love comes out. And then when I mean the influence is heavy on I Need Love, Mahogany pops up a year later from Rakim.
Okay.
I
think that's a great case.
And that's not counting
the hits.
Actual hits. No. The hits are real.
His feature game is really underrated as well.
You're going to get to the feature game, but what I was about to say is, it's like, can you not still play Jinglin' Baby right now?
Jinglin' Baby's a jam.
You can play Jinglin' Baby right now, can't you?
Yeah. One of my favorite mic performances from him. Man with the super chat says LL is way better than Kendrick in every aspect, no contest. He didn't make albums better than Kendrick. We'll say that.
No. But everything else, look, Kendrick is a better songwriter, lyricist, and album maker. LL checks the rest of the other boxes.
Ryan Gillum says, my mistake. I meant to say I would never put K Dot over KRS-One. Okay. Okay. Cool,
Me?
cool. And he said he's 28 years old. He would never put K Dot over KRS-One. It sounds sacrilegious, and I know we sound nostalgic and everything.
No, like real talk. Like when people talk about even the whole versus thing, imagine LL up against Kendrick in a versus. Kendrick would get washed.
Well, people are saying that only old folks are playing Jingling Baby like that. Well, that's 10 MCs right there. 10 MCs right
hold on, what about, but this is what I'm saying, the hits are everywhere. What about Lounging?
Yeah.
What about Hey Lover? What about I Need Love? What about Going Back to Cali, the original version? What about Mama Said Knock You Out? What about Bad? What about Radio? What about Round the Way Girl? What about Love You Better? What about the hip hop stuff with the collabs 4321? I Shot remix. That's what I'm saying. Like, no. What about Il Bomb off Funk Flex?
Yeah.
He everywhere. Like the only thing that he doesn't have is like he's comparable to Kendrick in the fact that it's like, well, his best classic album doesn't rank high with the other classic guys' stuff. And Kendrick's, what? You can say that Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City are better than anything LL's ever made. But show me where Kendrick knows how to make records like L, because I just gave you like 10 records that Kendrick can't make on his best day.
I think the verses that we needed was KRS and LL Cool J, honestly.
No. I think we're going to have to end up taking care of that. If we have time, we'll unpack that dynamic as well.
Yeah, definitely. Ray Realms with the super chat says, LL is literally the blueprint. He's the first teenage rap star. And, we don't even look at him like a teenage rap star. He's just like the first superstar, period.
He was 15 years old.
Yeah.
My daughter's 15.
That's crazy.
Look here. You want to know how epic he was? I'm teaching her how to drive. I'm afraid when this nigga pull in the driveway because she don't know what she doing yet. This nigga on stage, like rapping in front of thousands of people, got his whole demo together.
I'm like, only 18, making more than your pops.
Right.
And getting into battles with legends.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's a whole nother aspect when you talk about LL in the battle and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Common is the next name I want to come up with.
Okay, so hold on. So by saying Common, you're putting Common ahead of Jadakiss, Black Thought, Pusha T, Cool G Rap, Redman, Snoop, DMX.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. No, I'm just making sure that you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Hold on. Somebody put pink cookies in a plastic bag. I love pink cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by buildings. I love that record.
Booming System. Love that record too.
That's what he got stuff. He got stuff everywhere. Hold on. The original I Shot You without the guest appearances is dope.
Yo, shout out to New Jams with the $60 super chat, man. Good looking.
Appreciate you. Mike, we didn't even bring up Doing It.
Doing It's a classic. It's an all-time great record.
He got all-time great records in every era.
Okay, Common. I think
this is the closest combo in my opinion because Common doesn't have the hits in my opinion, much like Kendrick. So? Not like he has.
I think he got bigger songs than Kendrick. I think The Light is big.
He does. Okay, so we're going to have to start breaking down the albums because I think the album conversation is super close. I think Kendrick's a slightly better MC. I think Common is a slightly better song maker. Mm-hmm. I think Common has him on the hits. Kendrick may have him slightly on the albums. It's super close. And
Common has a better rap voice, I think.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Better rap voice. Who's the better storyteller?
Kendrick is.
Okay.
I think Common has him on the versatility.
Yes. Let's go to the albums right quick because I think the albums are where it's close because I think Kendrick's a better lyricist and writer and song maker, but Common is a better hit maker and MC and has a better voice and delivery, but the albums are comparable.
I see someone saying that Common's music is NyQuil. Okay, that's an argument made too.
Hold on, who just hit that chat? Hold on, what did
they say? I got it. Mad Max with the super chat. Mad Max says, Coop, Kendrick is not a better songwriter, LOL. In the chat violating LL Cool J once, I heard him say that You don't know you just a worker, and your boss is my man's. I said LL got it.
No, we just put LL ahead of him. Yeah. That's why we're the common.
Yeah,
We're not
LL got him. I think overall, but you were saying that Kendrick was a better songwriter.
song for song. Yes,
Yeah.
LL knows how to go in and make a better hit than
When
Kendrick.
it's structural, yeah. I got
Yeah.
you. I think this common thing is interesting. We need to unpack this a little bit.
No,
Now,
I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm with the.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Common's first album. So
Can I borrow a dollar ain't really slapping on nothing. But here's what I tell you. Here's where it gets comparable. Well, Common's got Resurrection. One Day It All Makes Sense. Like Water for Chocolate. B and Finding Forever. Now those are 5 albums that are very comparable to Kendrick's 5 albums, and he's got more material.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. And so let's go back to this common conversation that we're having right now. This is what I meant about continuing to do the work, because his catalog is very comparable to Common. Is Good Kid, and Mad City and B not comparable?
Oh yeah.
It's Like Water for Chocolate and To Pimp a Butterfly not comparable.
Oh yeah.
It's Damn and Finding Forever. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, we can go.
I mean, we even went through that whole Like Water for Chocolate and To Pimp a Butterfly comparison on this show a couple of months ago. Remember, we went track for track, and it was really surprising. Andre Shashir says, I'm taking Redman over Common. That's okay as an MC, but like album for album and catalog, that's kind of a tough sell, I think.
After 2000, it's going to be tough to sell Redman over Common, just because it's like, well, Redman's bulk of what has him in classic stature is literally everything from 1990 to 2000.
B is another level. Mad Max with another super chat says LL like if you take J. Cole and the good aspects of Drake and add a little Pac energy and Snoop performance. LL is nice. LL's a lot of combinations of a lot of things, but he's the blueprint of a lot of things too. Hip hop's first soloist, like Coop said, like in the modern form, like how we talk about Rakim is the first modern MC. LL's the first modern hip hop solo superstar. Everybody's in the mode of that guy.
Yeah. Who is it that was saying they used to watch LL's interviews, like to learn how to talk?
Joe said that, I believe.
That's how important he is. It's like he's inspired so many guys in so many ways, down to how to make a song, how to make an interview, how to carry yourself, how to do your business, how to make a hit record. He's made some classic stuff. You know,
he made FUBU.
He made FUBU major. Skyscraper.
Okay, so I agree with you. I think the Common just kind of has too much at this moment, and like you said, he's still going. He has a lot of classic moments.
If their albums catalogs are comparable, and Common has been around longer and done more material and made more hits, and is a comparable MC with a comparable catalog, and is a better guest appearance artist as well, and collabs more with other people, who does the nod go to? That's what I'm saying. Is like, so people need to start being objective about Kendrick.
So what do you guys think in the chat? Because I'm seeing people saying, stop it. Common ain't over K-Dot. Y'all got Common or Kendrick? But
this is what I'm saying. So Overly Dedicated, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, and Mr. Morale. Well, no, you can go Resurrection. Or you can go the first one, Can I Borrow a Dollar? Resurrection. One Day It'll All Make Sense. Like Water for Chocolate. B. Finding Forever. And then you can go pick your favorite from like the other 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 albums that he's done. You get what I'm saying? It's like he's just doing more work. And then there's stuff floating around like 1999, Get 'Em High. You know, there's stuff like that floating out there. The stuff on Late Registration. Remember the verse on Late Registration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On My Way Home. Shout out to Jay Short with the super chat. He said, kids out here with the whole internet and unlimited music acting like they don't know Wu-Tang and other 90s artists.
The freestyle that he did with KRS on Hot 97 is legendary. Him and KRS going back and forth trading bars. You ain't normal when you can trade bars.
Done the work.
Hot 97, yeah.
Common's done the work.
I'm not done yet. What about on the Roots albums? You and I verse at war on Philadelphia Half-Life. What about Love of My Life with Erykah Badu? What about on Things Fall Apart, Act 2, Love of My Life? Like, he's done work.
DeCarlo says Wayne above a lot of these names. Okay.
Let's
bring Wayne in the conversation.
Thelonious, the track Thelonious with
I
Slim
love
Village.
Thelonious.
I was
That's
listening to
probably
Thelonious
my
today, and I
favorite.
was just like, this is what I mean about checking boxes.
Yeah. Thelonious is one of my favorite Common songs. It's top 3 for me. Nas the
Thelonious.
Goat says, I was born in 1984 and I have K Dot in my top 10 because I love his content. I only have 3 street rappers in my top 10. That's Jay-Z, Kiss, and Styles P. Didn't expect those.
Okay. Yeah. Kiss is borderline top 10. Styles is borderline top 20. Those are good people to have. I don't think Kendrick is top 10, but like I said, I feel comfortable sliding him somewhere between 10 to 15 still. I mean, if
Are
you
you
wanted
putting
to
him
say,
ahead of Black Thought still? I think with catalog purposes we may need to.
so he's not a better MC. But here's how thin that line is, and here's how great Black Thought is. Black Thought needs to make an album better than the album Method Man just made.
I think he's going to.
But I think he's about to.
Yeah.
And I think him making a great, like Black Thought making a classic solo rap album changes the narrative on everybody's list. Because it's like he says on the song, No Gold Teeth, what does he say? Who am I? The God of the microphone. Praise the Lord. Any MC disagree with me? Raise your sword. Yeah, who gonna raise their sword?
No one's doing that. You know,
Not
Black Thought's looking like Luka Doncic right now.
No. I think you mean to say Luka Doncic out here looking like Black Thought. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean.
When he said that bar, I thought to myself, I was like, ain't nobody finna raise their hand and ask for that smoke though.
Well, you know what I said about that whole Method Man resurgence, man. I feel like Method Man hadn't been the same since that Sway freestyle where he was sitting up there with Black Thought and he was rapping from his phone and Black Thought went crazy. I think Meth, being the MC and the competitor he is like, yo, I got to get back in the lab.
And this is what I mean when I'm talking about even Black Thought in relationship to Method Man. In Method Man, I hear somebody that if he were to make a classic rap album, we would have a conversation about him as a top 10 MC. If Black Thought makes a classic solo rap album, we're having a conversation about where he is all time, as in, like, okay, so there's that Nas Rakim level album that we've been waiting for to place him there, because literally that's all he's missing in terms of placement. He's got hit records.
Let me get back to Common real quick, and before I lose my train of thought.
He's better bar for bar than Common. He just doesn't have no beer like water for chocolate.
Well, what if someone were to say, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Common does have the first album, Can I Borrow a Dollar, in his catalog. He has Electric Circus, and he also has Universal Mind Control. And this more recent effort. Do these things strike against him?
They do strike against him, but somebody's going to have to strike harder. That's why it's like, well, is it fair to put Kendrick over him when Common is taking the time to make consistent albums and projects to provide us with those missteps, as opposed to somebody that hasn't given us a full-length release in 5 years?
I can agree with that. Okay.
That's not fair to Common. Like, it's not fair to knock him on one side and then hold Kendrick up, and Kendrick get to disappear for 5 years and get to be top 10. No. That's disrespectful to the work. And you know how we feel about work, right? Like, you should go and, like, do it.
What about Jadakiss?
Like, Kiss and Black Thought are the people that I think of that them making a classic solo album would make me want to maybe slightly put them ahead of Kendrick, because more so Thought than Kiss, because here's what I say. Well, the Roots have classic solo, have classic material. The Locks really don't to me. They have great material, but not classic material. The Roots got classic stuff, Mike.
And I think from a content level, Black Thought shows that he can go there, you know?
Plural. They got classics, plural.
No,
so
definitely.
Doing a classic as a solo artist, it's like, no, whole conversation.
No.
What? Like I said, any MC disagree with me, raise your sword. Kendrick ain't about to say nothing to that either. Like, you don't want to rap with Black Thought. Don't nobody want to do that shit.
Nobody wants to rap with Black Thought like that. And that's just the honest truth.
Just the honest truth.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like, he's somewhere else with it.
No, I told you, he's the walking standard for bars. Not Rakim, not Nas. Black Thought's the walking standard for bars. If you want to talk about all-time standards for bars, all-time standard for bars, Rakim on Paid in Full and Follow the Leader, Nas on Illmatic and It Was Written. Walking standard, Black Thought. The embodiment of those things.
Okay, the last person that we're going to mention here, and I think that we kind of wrap this segment up, because I know we're getting, like, into the 3-hour room.
First of all,
Wayne.
this Hudson guy saying we're comparing him to guys 40 years in. Black Thought's not 40 years in. That's disrespectful. Stop being shady and sideways with your comments.
Wayne. Speaking of 40 years in, a 40-year-old
40 years
Lil
old.
Wayne.
Wayne is so hard to rate.
He is.
Because he's got the hits. And he's got classic material.
I think on the same basis that we go with LL on, it's kind of those things. And he still does have the Carter 2, Carter 3, Carter
Wayne's
1.
catalog is better than LL's catalog, album-wise, actually.
Yeah.
And hit-wise, he's not L, but he's made enough hits that he's viable. Nobody's L hit-wise.
No.
Except for maybe Pop. But Wayne is one of those people that deserves conversation.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is what hurts him in this MC conversation is the nonsensical rhetoric.
I was just about to say that.
That gets elevated to high-level MCing, because that nonsensical rhetoric that gets portrayed as high-level MCing, well, it doesn't play up against Black Thought and KRS-One and Ghostface and Scarface and Kiss and Kendrick.
No, I agree.
And definitely not against Rakim and Nas and Jay and Big.
S.B. says, what are the boxes? We need multiple lists, I think. Reggie also says, guys, we're going to need a top 25 hip-hop group album catalog list, too. Well, y'all putting us to work with good stuff, though. We'll get that.
We'll do the work.
All right, so I guess from where we're looking at right now, we can get into this more intricately later on, but it looks like Kendrick's not top 10. It's more like top 15-ish. And a lot of that's predicated on some other things. So the people that we have definitively over him, Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay, Rakim, Ice Cube, Face, meaning Ghostface, Scarface, KRS-One, LL Cool J, Common. Now, I do think that if we were talking about a living list, then maybe he is.
Yeah, if he's a living list, then you can slide him in, because he would be 10 then, because we'd be sliding 2 people off and sliding him up. Yeah. But here's also what I would submit to you. Well, this is where I had him after he released Damn, and that's why this album isn't a classic. He really hasn't moved. Right.
Okay.
5-year break didn't serve him well. That's what I mean. It's like when Damn came out, I was like, well, this guy is in an argument, in a conversation to be a top 10 MC all time. But here we are 5 years later, and he did nothing with this album to elevate it, because there's nothing about it that superior supersedes the conversation that was happening 5 years ago with Damn, which is he's borderline top 10, which is where he still is. I would objectively have him somewhere around 11, 12, or 13. But guess what? That's where I had him 5 years ago. That's why this album is just good, really good, and not great or all-time great, because he really didn't jump up and remove any notches. He just showed where he moved up a level is that he's officially in that canonized group of like all-time great hip-hop writers after this record. He, as a writer, he deserves to be mentioned with Ice Cube and Scarface and Tupac and Nas and Ghostface. Like, he deserves that, but as MC-wise, no.
I'm hearing that in the chat somebody said that I'm giving K-Dot the Steph treatment. I think that, again, and if we want to compare this to Steph,
you've been real rude to Steph. I want to let you know, people in North Carolina.
Listen, man, Steph ain't got no Finals MVPs. Just like Kendrick ain't got the hits like that. Now, he could put on a really great regular season. You know what I'm saying? Put together a really great campaign, just the way Kendrick puts together albums. But where Kendrick lacks is the, I don't want to say the hits, but just the notable songs. Like, if we had more Money Trees from Kendrick, then this would be different. You know what I mean? Did you, I want to get on to the next topic, because I can't wait till our Friday show, because I'm going to watch this game tonight, and you guys better hope y'all win this game tonight. I'm going to be talking hella shit. But anyway, did anybody see the Onyx in the Cypress Hill versus? Carlos says he has 2 MVPs. He has zero Finals MVPs.
Those are regular season MVPs. Hold on. Let me explain this to people. So, like, Steph Curry has more MVPs than Shaq, Kobe, and KD. That don't make him better.
I mean, shit, so does Jokovic. Anyway.
So does Giannis. None of them guys are better than the guys I mentioned.
Yeah. Finals MVPs is when you show who's the most valuable player on the best team, and he hasn't shown that.
No, I took I took stock out of like the regular season MVP, like one of those years where they gave it to Karl Malone instead of Mike, and then a couple years later.
Malone deserved it that year, though.
But no, he didn't. And then there was the year that Jason Kidd deserved it over Tim Duncan. I think it was the second year. It's like Jason Kidd deserved that MVP.
The regular season stuff gets real political. Finals MVP
it's like y'all don't like that Jason Kidd is out here like, you know.
Finals MVP is in your face. Finals MVP is in your face. Now, granted, I think Steph should have won it on their first championship, but the fact that they were able to not give it to him lets you know definitively he wasn't the man in that series like that. Really, they wanted to give it to LeBron. You remember that? The talk was to give it to LeBron even in a losing effort.
That happened to Jerry West, I think.
But they lost like by 1 point in a game 7. Like, it wasn't even one of those situations.
And Bill Russell and Jerry West balling.
Yeah. And not to mention that Dellavedova was whooping Steph's ass in the first couple of games. So that was a problem.
Kyrie busted that ass for the kneecap, went out too. I want to address a couple things that are coming. Mecca and the Soul Brother is a classic, and so is the main ingredient. Steph is not greater than Durant. That's why he had to go crawl to Durant to get to his 3 rings. And I don't hate Kendrick. I just rate him fairly, and I'm not biased. I'm not trapped in the 80s. I'm not trapped in the 90s. I'm trapped on Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly. It's just not as dope hip-hop wise as one. It's not as clear and concise thematically and conception wise as the other. No, Duncan didn't get robbed with no MVP. Jason Kidd got robbed because Jason Kidd like to pimp hoes and slap women up. But whatever.
I want to address this. DeCarlo said the Finals MVP is more of a joke when Iggy wins over Curry. Well, tell me another situation where the Finals MVP was a joke. Because really they just gave it to Iggy because he was the one that stepped up and defended LeBron. This was about LeBron. This wasn't about Iggy.
I'm about to say, if you want to know the truth.
That's what it was. Give me another situation where somebody got robbed of the NBA Finals MVP.
One of LeBron's greatest accomplishments is actually the fact that 2 guys won MVP because they played solid defense on him, and that's Kawhi and Iggy.
And I think even in that series, LeBron led both teams in every fucking category. What y'all talking about, man?
Literally averaged almost like double the points of Kawhi in that series. And they're like, Kawhi played great defense on LeBron. I'm like, LeBron averaged like a triple-double there. There's like 28, 8, and 8. Kawhi averaged 15 points for the series. And they're like, but he played such great defense against LeBron. I was like, oh, okay.
That's all you can do. Ray Rooms of the Super Chat says, Steph suffers in an all-time list like Clay suffers on the top 75 list. Loading up with Kevin Durant not only placed the asterisk on his own career, but theirs as well. I think KD didn't care. KD's a made man. He understands what he means on a one-on-one level. If anything, that adds an asterisk to those guys.
That's what I'm saying, because KD is one of those guys all time. When you look at him and how he pulls up, it's like, no, he can beat Mike. He can beat Magic. He can beat Bird. He can beat LeBron, as in one-on-one. Steph's not in that type of conversation. So he know who he is when he pull up. But here's what I tell you. They both have done each other a disservice because they would have 5 and 6 rings respectively had they stayed together. And here's what I'm going to tell you. KD needs to go get him a real point guard. He has yet to play with a real point guard. Russell Westbrook is not a real point guard. Steph Curry is not a real point guard. Kyrie Irving is the worst. All right? He's not a real point guard.
Jay Short says, what's Curry?
When LeBron James don't want you.
Jay Short says, what's Curry's iconic finals moment? Exactly.
No, they're right about all those things. That's more of a testament to KD and LeBron than a knock to Steph. He's not in that stratosphere. He's the next tier.
He's a regular season guy.
The only person that height that's in that stratosphere is Isaiah, okay?
Yeah.
Period. Nobody else is in that stratosphere at that height.
Okay. Next. Let's get to this Onyx and Cypress Hill versus. Did you hear what B-Real had to say about it?
I did.
B-Real said, I have to say, although it was great to rock with my brothers, Onyx, in the versus battle, I feel like versus online, he tagged him in it, shorted us all by not running this on IG Live like they did the other battles. They made it a pay-per-view event and made the battle a sideshow for a boxing match instead, in my opinion. And that's unfortunate. I think from this statement, I think Versus is officially done. Not to mention we're all outside now, even though you and I still be doing our show remotely because it kind of works for us. But we'll do some in-studio stuff too. But as far as like that format of versus, man, I think it's over. It was cool while it lasted, but this was to me the nail in the coffin. The promotion for this was bad. The fact they didn't run this on the IG Live was baffling to me. Was it the fact that does Trilla just own the rights now? Like, why didn't they even run it on their IG Live?
So,
Nas the Ghost says there's a lot of greats with no finals MVPs, Mike, that made it to the finals 5 times. Tell me, please. Tell me how many people made it to the finals 5 times who are all-time greats and have no finals MVPs. Cut it out, guys.
Elgin Baylor's the only one. Elgin Baylor.
We went way back for that one. In the modern era.
Oh, nobody. Elgin Baylor lost 9 finals. 8 finals.
Because again, we're talking about a team that won 11 fucking rings. It's a different situation.
Well, yeah, Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. Not enough to beat Bill Russell and Sam Jones.
So in the modern era, guys, there's nobody who's made it to the finals 5 times and has 0 finals MVPs.
Not with his legacy or stature. No. No. So Mike, a lot of people think that you're trolling. That is fair critique because he is a top 25 player, and all the other top 25 players that have comparable finals appearances have the rings and the MVPs to go with them. Moses Malone. How many finals Dr. J played in?
I think he played in 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay.
What
are your thoughts on this versus?
I think LP with the super chat is saying what I was actually about to say, which is what I think you've been saying from the jump, actually, because I was actually going to talk your shit.
He says Swiss and Tim sold out a while ago. Okay, you know what? I want to go a little bit deeper than that.
I'll let you go. I want you to go deeper. No, I want you to go deeper to it, actually, because when all of this came up, I actually thought about your initial sentiments about this, which have proven to be spot on, because you questioned whether they were doing this for the culture from the start, or if this wasn't a money marketing opportunity to cash out on the pandemic and make some money while everybody was sitting down. And when this started, those were your sentiments. I want to hear what you have to say because you've been so fortuitous in calling this and how it is unraveled.
Well, like I said, we have a lot more people now watching the show than we used to, so maybe a lot of people don't know my initial thoughts on this.
Right, go ahead.
I'll say this. Anybody who DJs, anybody who puts music out there, if you go on IG Live playing people's catalogs willy-nilly, you're going to get muted, you're going to get a violation, and you're going to get all that stuff. What makes Timbaland and Swiss so different where they're able to go on their IGs and have a relationship with IG and play people's catalogs that they don't own the publishing to? So my initial thoughts were like, maybe the majors got together while everybody was inside. It was like, look, this is how we're going to push these catalogs while, people aren't touring. And we need to run it through some credible people, so we'll run it through Swiss and Tim. So my thing, and I could be wrong, this is just my theory, I don't think Swiss and Tim were in charge in the first place. I think the majors were pushing this versus behind them because it never made any sense to me with Bun B, respect to Bun B and everything. He was asking Swiss and Tim if they could do an 8-Ball and MJG and UGK versus. And my thing was like, well, why don't y'all pull out your phone like everybody else and just do it on your own? For whatever reason, they couldn't play their own catalogs without the help of Swiss and Tim, which was weird to me. Not to mention when Bone and, Crazy Bone and DJ Paul were initially about to do a versus, and DJ Paul's a little different because a lot of his stuff is underground and is not really owned by the majors. Mm-hmm. He was ready to go. Crazy Bone got a call from Swiss Beats, and they called it off without explanation. So, again, making me feel that this never was Timbaland and Swiss's business like that anyway. This is something that the majors did, which kind of confirms this a little bit more, that whoever the publishers are probably did a deal with Trilla, and it's very sad that they didn't, I guess they don't have the ability to do the IG Live anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So, and you have to ask yourself, too, where is the money coming from when it comes to you know, some of these artists doing a versus. Because Gucci said, and let's just be real here, Gucci ain't really rocking with Jeezy like that. You remember he tweeted out, "I'll
No.
do a versus if you give me $1 million."
Mm-hmm.
He went out there and did this versus. They paid this man. He didn't do that for free.
Yeah.
He did not do that for free.
If
He
any of
didn't
them are
sit
doing
there
this-
and stand in front of Jeezy for free.
If anybody is doing this for free, they are tripping. Because this is what you always said it was. It was something that was a money play. And you and I have had multiple shows where we pulled up and addressed, are they really doing it for the culture? Or are they doing it for themselves? And we have both alluded to the fact that it felt like somebody else was pulling the strings.
I think they were just figureheads the whole time. Because
Right.
again,
So I want to go to some legendary movie lexicon, because it's actually been Brambleton's been making me watch Godfather Part 1 and 2 again, which is two of my favorite movies. There's a scene in The Godfather 1 where Marlon Brando, Vito, is talking to Al Pacino's character Michael, and he talks about how everything happened too fast. It's towards the end, right before his character dies.
Mm-hmm.
About how everything happened too fast, and how he hopes that when his time came, that he would be the one that had the other people on the string and was playing the puppet master. He's like, I wanted you to be Senator Corleone, Congressman Corleone, so that you would be the one that was really pulling the strings. That's the admission that it's like, no, everybody looks at me like this boss, like this kingpin. I'm on the puppet string still. And so what you're seeing musically is that whatever Timbaland and Swiss are to us in this music world, they're still puppets on the fucking string, just like Vito was when he's talking to his son about how he didn't want things to be. And so it just needs to be, once again, context about what it really is, but they lie to us and say, we're doing it for the culture, and then they disappear after they've collected the bag. Mm-hmm. How many times do we fall for this? But I tell you what we're going to do. We about to hijack y'all shit and do it better than y'all, and there's nothing that you niggas can do about it. Have a nice day.
Well, all right. The other part of it is too, man. I've talked to Big Boy, right? I mean, I haven't talked to Big Boy. I'm lying.
Right.
I've heard Big Boy say.
I ain't talked to Swiss or Timbaland either, but we about to run their shit and take it from them, and they ain't gonna do shit about it.
You threw me off course for a second. What I was gonna say is, I've heard Big Boy from Outkast say that he's gotten flagged on his social medias for uploading Outkast material.
Watch it happen. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so you're sitting here telling me that these guys never got any flags. So they just went out here and they were able to play whatever.
Puppets. They're puppets. They're puppets on a string. And keep in mind, these are men that I'm talking about that are worth not just like a few millions of dollars, but hundreds of millions of dollars individually, and still puppets on a string. Sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the role that you're willing to play, and how you're willing to capitulate. You get what I'm saying? Like, they actually have the money and the power not to be on the string, but being on the string is easier for them to collect their check and disappear on you after they've given you their version of the culture.
Well, I think this is the thing, too. When you talk about somebody like Swiss and Tim, which I think, you know, the work they've done speaks for itself. All-time great, especially Tim. I think Tim's probably one of the most talented beat makers that I've ever seen. Like, you get him together with a beat machine, he's going crazy. But also, they have lived their whole careers with the majors. Like, they've always been signed. They've always had their distribution through that. So they only know how to coexist through the machine. And this is just their next level of that. Because at this point, let's just be real. Budgets ain't out there to be, for artists to be spending $100,000 over a Timbaland beat. They're not going to do that now. So that hustle is gone. So it has to be another one. I think at this point, Versus is done. And, it was cool while it lasted. Like I said, everybody's back outside. There's not too many intriguing matchups left. There's a few, but it sounds like, the artists that would be doing it are spending their time doing something else.
No, it's not dead. We about to take it. I'm not joking. We're just going to jack it and do it better. We got better concepts and ideas and things, and we're more relatable and rooted in the culture than they are. It's like, no, thank you. I'd like to appreciate it. Like, we got some stuff that's popping that's about to come up soon, and You know, we got a third show coming soon, and it's like, no, we gonna do it right for the culture.
Yeah, it's gonna be real fun.
Yeah, we about to have fun and do it right for the culture. You
Well,
niggas is whack. I told you, like, some of that shit be looking back. Like that time he was like having Nas rap next to him, the verbal intercourse beat. It's like you got a Nas and Jay versus. Don't show me that shit. Don't nobody care about that. It's like you got Nas rapping the verbal intercourse beat next to you like 25 years later. It's like they're doing the verses. No, that be that sucker shit. That be that puppet shit. It's like that's just to entertain you. That's just to get you in. And now, once the buy-in has gotten lower, i.e., Onyx or a Cypress Hill, they faded.
yeah.
And whatever you think about Onyx or Cypress Hill,
They didn't deserve that.
like they may not be like what you would consider your A-list hip hop legends, but still hip hop legends deserve to be respected.
The fact that they didn't,
like I remember I went
promote them and they didn't put them on the IG
Naughty
Live.
by Nature was performing, and I just didn't like the way Naughty by Nature got treated during the performance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like by the audience, by the crowd. It's like, I know who that is, right?
Now, I don't love the fact in this versus, right, that they didn't promote them and they didn't even explain why this wasn't on the IG Live. Like,
yeah,
that's not cool, man. All right. Before we get up out of here, man, did you see LeBron's top 5 hip-hop albums? He got The Chronic, for the people out there who didn't see this. Somebody asked, Sierra Porter, she asked LeBron on Twitter, and I guess LeBron, you know, he's chilling these days, you know, enjoying the life of the off-season.
He's at home. He's at home. He's at home. Hold on.
Playing some music, you know.
He's at home because he wasn't paying attention to what happened to Kevin Durant for 10 years. That's why he's home.
Sierra Porter asked him, he said, top 5 hip-hop albums. He said, The Chronic, Doggy Style, The Black Album, Life After Death, and It Was Written. But I have so many more to name, for real. So, you know, I know you can appreciate that Life After Death thing.
You know, he's an 85 baby, so if you look at most of those albums, so if he's an 85 baby, so think about it. Life After Death is 97.
The Black Album was his senior year of high school.
Black Album is senior year of high school. It was written, he's 12 years old. So most of these albums, formative years, 12 to 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Chronic and Doggy Style was super early for him, but I'll tell you something, that's probably one of those things went back after he got into, like, he's probably like a 95, 96, 97 head. Well, that's the residual end of that. So he probably caught, like, the end of that and went back and was like, oh, this is really the thing.
I got early memories of The Chronic, man. That shit was everywhere.
Right. I got memories of The Chronic, but LeBron is about 4 years younger than us, so he don't. Right. He might have a vague memory of Doggy Style, but he don't have no Chronic memories like that. I doubt that.
Well, see, I think I've said this on the show before. I think Doggy Style has aged better than damn near anything. So you could pick up Doggy Style right now and be like 20 years old, and you get it. Yeah.
No.
And hear it for the first time, you get it.
No, I told you when my cousin was talking about People's Instinctive, he was like, yeah, he's like, you always been that way. He's like, you pulled the whole tape out and started reading it. Mike, I was so young. I don't remember pulling the People's Instinctive tape out and reading it. I was 8 years old.
What are your top 5 again for the people in the room who don't know and haven't heard your top 5?
Oh, Illmatic, Aquemini, Only Built for Cuban Links, Doggy Style, Paid in Full.
I think ours only differs at Paid in Full, and I got It Takes a Nation and Million. That's so hard for me, man, because Paid in Full is crazy.
No, I'm okay with that because, to be honest with you, after Paid in Full, like, I have that Life After Death, It Takes a Nation, Low End Theory, Enter the Wu-Tang. Oh, yeah.
So I got Aquemini. I got Takes a Nation. Man, Paid in Full is so heavy, man. I hate leaving Paid in Full off. It would definitely be my number 6, man. Takes a Nation. I got Only Built for Cuban Links. I got Illmatic, and I got Doggy Style, man. Reggie says, hey, Mike, Luka Doncic sleeps with the fishes. Sign.
Like Luca Brasi and the Godfather.
Yeah. He says, Steph Chlorine. Ray Realm says, did you brothers get my text about the topic biter? And the 50 female MC rap list. Something previously touched on. I did get that email about that 50 female MCs list. It seemed like, man, they were just naming MCs at that point.
It was. Hold on.
You know, if you want to put a list out there, you want to be accurate, man. You don't want to just be. They had Fergie on the list or something, man.
Well, you just need to do your homework. So I'll tell you the truth as somebody that knows a lot of hip hop and done his homework. I don't have enough in my catalog right now to give you top 50 female MCs.
That's a lot.
Off the top. And also, too, I keep thinking about that post that Love the Genius did on Instagram about how we would feel if we were in the shoes of the females MCs, of being in the sphere of being castigated and capitulated to on the level of like, oh, well, you're great as far as females are concerned. And so even just doing a top 50 female, I'm starting to just realize some things as I get older. Like, you know, the oppression is real that women go through. So even when we do a separatism type things, like doing well, she's the best female MC, or do a top 50 female MC list, we need to start being more careful about how the women are taking that.
You heard what Kanye said on that documentary when they was like, yo, he the best rapper producer out there. He's like, man, don't call me that, man. He was like, that's like calling me the best female MC or something.
Right. No. But you want to know what? But you want to know what I remember from that? You want to know how I remember that? That changed his whole body language. He was emotionally different after that statement got made. Like, he wasn't interested in being around them anymore. Now, if that's a man in that environment feeling that way, imagine how the women are being made to feel.
Yeah, it's like, look, if you want to label me as the 30th best MC, do that. I think your camera went out for a second.
Yeah.
All right, man, we need to go ahead and get up out of here. I think we covered pretty much everything, man, but I'm about to watch this game. And like I said, y'all better hope Steph goes out here and busts Luka's ass, man. But it ain't looking good.
Hold on, Mike. Before we go, what we got for Friday? We got anything like lined up Friday? Like what, music-wise?
Off top, I don't know.
Okay.
I know Rhapsody got an album coming out. It ain't coming out Friday, but
you don't want to know what? It's something that we may have to do, especially since we're talking in the female MC spectrum. Che Noir released a project late last year that we didn't catch, and one this year. We might need to catch those and show the ladies some more love.
Okay, let's do that, because I actually remember getting some messages about that as well. There's a lot of stuff to catch up on, so.
Yeah, there is. I don't know what happened to my camera. Can you actually still see me right now?
I see you, but you know what I'm saying, it's not the quality camera.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
All right, well, we're going to holler at y'all Friday, man. Great show, great conversation. I'm glad we really got in depth in this. Good stuff.
Oh, somebody just said, Frank Wizard said Joey Badass is coming this Friday, Mike.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Well, I'm about to say, if Joey's coming, that's what's coming. Hold on. Can we go out with something right quick, like on a note about something?
Uh-huh.
This album, like the Mr. Morale album, it's a dope project. But listening to this album has made me realize it's like, well, there are a lot of great artists outside, but great artists don't necessarily mean great material. I don't think we have one hip-hop classic this year so far.
Black Star is the closest. Yeah.
I'm about to say Black Star album is closest to us. And truthfully, I'm willing, about what the people are saying, to run off my 5 rating and go down to a 4.75.
Okay. I think we should discuss that on Friday, too.
Right, we did. Yeah, we can. I briefly talked about it. I still think it's the best rap album of the year. But if the Black Star album is the best rap album of the year so far, this isn't an all-time great rap year. It's just a really good year with a lot of quality projects.
Very dense.
It's a very dense year, but yeah, it's not producing the fruit of classic material because it's going.
We're only in May, though. Cool.
I mean, we're getting towards the middle of May, which means we're about halfway through this year, and we don't have a classic album yet. What I told you, by this time, the previous years, yeah, we had classic or borderline classic stuff come across our desk. And if the Black Star is the closest that we got to it, it's not really shaping up top end wise to be as good.
Someone asked if we stopped doing the MC rating. No, we're going to keep doing that. It's just been so much music coming out that we've had to cover that. So
right. We haven't had time to actually do the ratings because so many artists have been coming out with their projects, which is like a beautiful thing. Like, it's beautiful for what we're doing and what we're trying to do, but it's not necessarily good for getting that MC rating done because we got to focus on the current music, you know?
Right. All right. Well, we're going to holler at y'all on Friday. Good stuff.
All right.